Alrighty, so we're back.
We're back.
We're back.
Once
Oh,
again.
are we on?
You know, we had quite a long silence from your clapping, so that'll be interesting.
That'll be nice.
Because it's like, clap us in, and then we sit here watching Danny fiddle with the phone for 5
Hello,
minutes
Americans.
and not saying anything.
Americans. Hey, that's quicker than normal.
This is true.
Usually it takes like way longer for me to figure that shit out.
At least this time you're not broadcasting the wall.
I was when we tested it earlier.
And then-
It's funny because every time it defaults to the front camera. So last time we turned it around because we wanted better quality from the rear camera, and it fucking flipped around on us, and we gave up and turned it around. Today, when we tested it beforehand, it defaulted to the rear camera for the first time fucking ever. So we had to...
So is that one microphone, or are you feeding this feed into that?
No, that's just for the phone, the microphone on there.
So that fucking mic way over there is picking up what we're saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's
Holy
why...
shit.
Well, it would even without the microphone, it just does a lot better job of it.
Wow. Technology, man.
So anyway, we're gonna fuck with this Bean Boozled thing, which I think everybody but Brian knows what it is. So basically, it's Jelly Bellies, and you have a wheel to spin, and there's different flavors in here. And like the green one, you don't know if you're going to get. They look exactly the same, but it's either lime or lawn clippings.
That one, I've eaten a lot of grass in my day. You guys know that yard I grew up with. I fucking spent many a fucking summer days with grass blowing in my face.
Right.
You can get caramel corn or moldy cheese,
Ooh.
coconut or spoiled milk,
Yum.
buttered popcorn or rotten eggs. and
Well,
so
isn't
on.
some moldy cheese just considered better, like
It's
the
just
connoisseur of
cheese.
cheese?
Like-
Is it all cheese
It's
moldy?
called blue cheese.
Yeah, there you go.
All cheese moldy, actually, really?
So, put it in the middle here. Let John spin the wheel.
Oh, that's
Oh,
a
come
fucking
on.
shitty
What the fuck
spin.
was that shit?
Sorry.
Would suck on Wheel
that
of
took
Fortune.
you back to when you're playing
one is
board
that?
games as a kid. That's
I'd say
not
it's
a real
bullshit.
spin. Bullshit.
Blue one.
Blue one?
That's not a real
What is
spin.
that?
Peach or barf,
Peach or barf?
You want to hand them out?
which looks like these guys.
Or we just, oh, okay, we're just handing them
No.
all out.
Mm.
You all get the same flavor. Well, ish.
It's definitely.
Don't be hoarding the good ones there, John.
I can't tell if these are the strawberry
Yeah,
banana
the this one and that
Oh,
one.
it don't matter as long
look
as they're all
very
the same
similar.
color.
or... Okay.
Those ones look very similar.
We're
I
all
guess
either-
one's kind of a lighter.
We're all either getting good or shit, and we'll be able to taste and see.
Yeah, see
No,
how
that
that
was
one's
different.
like, yeah, see? So there's like a little difference in
They're like
this one right here, right there. Yeah,
opaque.
right there. I know you're a little blind. Yeah, see, same
Okay.
orange.
And this one's supposed to be what? Either
If we got the right one,
peach
or barf.
Maybe.
You smell it?
All right.
Has no smell.
Mine's peach.
Mine barf.
Are you no shit?
Mine barf.
Yep.
You got barf too?
That's pretty gross.
Mine's pretty good, actually. It's not bad
That's
at all.
fucking disgusting.
A little bit.
It legitly has a fucking barf. I feel like a barf
Yeah.
aftertaste for sure.
As long
Yeah.
as that's the end of the barf tasting.
That's nasty as shit.
We should have brought a trash
Dodge that
can in
bullet.
here or something.
Oh my god.
All right.
Next.
Moving on.
You can't give it too much time in between, because if you clear your palate, it takes the fun out of it.
Right. Lime or lawn clippings?
Well, this
Looks
one,
like
That one doesn't
solid
seem as
green.
scary.
Yeah, I could go either
right?
way.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah.
Look at that fucking barf in my mouth.
Big money, no whammy.
Lawn clippings?
Yep, lawn clippings. It's not that bad, though, really.
Mm-mm. Way better than barf.
It is not lime. Is that what their version of long clip? That's not bad. It's
I get the grass. I got
it's
it
like
too.
sweet
Did
grass.
anybody
Wow.
get lawn clipping or lime?
No.
No, I got that, but you get that grass. Like what you said, when you cut the lawn and you just your mouth just gets that kind of
It's
the
like
air
if you're-
gets that flavor. It
Like
tastes
if you're
like
chewing gum and get grass in your mouth, that's what that tasted
Yeah.
like right there.
or when you used to chew on the long stems of the little
Yes,
grass in
yes,
it.
yes, yes.
Kayla says
Chew
don't
on that?
puke.
Trying to be
That's
cool.
funny.
Tastes just like that.
We're
dude.
doing our best.
Yeah,
Trying to
we'll
milk-
try.
Trying to milk the poppy.
What's that one?
Tutti Frutti or Stinky Socks?
Yeah.
Do stinky socks have to
Stinky
taste
socks.
bad? I mean, maybe they just... Maybe it's like one of those...
I wouldn't imagine they taste good. I mean, she got to be fine as fuck for me to
Missing
Is
one?
that it? Right.
say that her feet taste good.
No, that's not it.
I think it's this one.
There it is. Yep.
Those don't look like they should taste bad. They're too pretty
They're
to
like
taste
rainbowy color. Oh,
They look kind of
rainbowy.
80s-ish.
These look like.
I haven't got any good shit yet.
Yeah.
So
bad. If there was an '80s flavored jelly bean, I guess that would be what it would look like.
Mm-hmm.
Poor Kale. He's nervous. Look.
Tutti Frutti.
Yep, that one's
It's
not
sweet.
horrible, so it must be Tutti Frutti. Kale looks like he's gonna die.
Oh, did you
Poor
get that
Kale.
one? Really?
Is that 3 in a row?
Dude, I'm like,
all of them.
I'm betting 1,000 right now.
The only
You
bad
got
one I
log
got
clippings,
was
but you
the.
liked it, motherfucker.
See?
Oh my god! Oh god! The aftertaste is the worst.
That one
After
tasted,
you swallow that bitch and then you inhale.
tasted sort of
and
like
it
Bazooka
hits your
Joe
taste
gum.
buds.
Yeah.
Oh fuck this bean shit! It's rigged. The fuck you Kale algorithm is
There we
going
go.
on this bitch. God damn it!
Is that the spoiled milk one?
Yep, coconut or spoiled milk.
So
Fuck
this one.
you! If I get spoiled, God, everyone else pick.
So me and my 3-year-old grandson played this, and this was the first bad one that he got.
Oh, bad milk?
Yeah, and it was so funny because you could tell it's horrible, but he didn't really want to spit it out. And we're sitting at the kitchen counter, and he just kind of sat there with it for a minute, and he's like, "It doesn't taste good." And he knows what it is. He's played it before. He played it with me. So after a while, he was trying to suck it up, and he just leans over and put up. Sits it on the counter.
Here's
Here we
to-
go.
Oh, here we go.
I can still taste that last.
Oh,
one.
that one's definitely spoiled milk.
Yeah, mine
Oh,
too.
shit.
Ugh.
Oh god, mine too. Motherfucker.
Ugh.
Fucker.
Gross. Oh, my God.
The fact that it's chewy makes it worse.
Oh, right? Like, you gotta, like, keep going.
Holy fuck.
Ugh.
I don't want to play anymore.
Oh.
Whoa.
Between the taste and the laughter, that was almost
Dude.
impossible
Oh,
to swallow.
dude.
That one was almost impossible to fucking swallow because
Oh.
it.
Seeing as we're
Oh my fucking god.
extending our... Ugh. Let's do
Oh
the
Jesus!
That
I
one
got.
just-
chocolate
I
pudding.
can feel it hit my gut.
Right?
I can feel
Or
it
dog
land
food.
in there. It's like, "Rrr."
Chocolate pudding or
fucking-
dog food?
I
Yeah.
got fucking tears in my eyes.
I'd eat
What
dog,
is it?
Chocolate pudding or dog food.
Motherfucker.
I'd eat dog food all day long before I'd eat spoiled milk.
That spoiled
Yeah.
milk one is
Ugh.
fucking bad.
Poor Kale hasn't got a good one yet, has he?
No, I have not. That spoiled milk one fucked me up.
I'm scared.
Right.
Cause that shit legitly tasted like it.
Dog
I
food.
can't
Dog
do
food.
it. I can't do it.
Come
I
on.
can't fucking do it.
We're all three dog food. You're probably not. Ugh.
Oh, my God.
What
That's
is it
horrible.
supposed to be?
Dog food or chocolate pudding?
That's dog food. Are there any chocolate puddings in there?
It tastes a lot more like the other end of the dog.
Yeah.
I had to spit mine out.
Any more you want to
Oh
try?
god, I don't need to see that, motherfucker.
Oh god, that's horrible.
Any more you want to try before we quit?
I don't want to try that one anymore.
Oh,
Mercy.
fuck.
I was good until we
Yeah.
Get
started
that
getting
boy
the
some
bad.
Tums.
Do that.
My luck ran out.
Do that blue one.
The
The
Toothpaste
I
or
can
that?
handle toothpaste.
Either one of those will
'Cause I-
like clear my palate.
I
Right.
just I taste toothpaste every fucking morning. I can handle that. Either it's gonna be good or it's gonna clean my mouth out.
Anything to get this dog food milk
Yeah.
taste out.
The dog food followed by, or the milk followed by dog food, that was not
horrible.
joyful.
I'm still fucked up by the milk.
Oh,
That
yeah.
milk was bad.
Toothpaste, yummy.
Now mine's the blue berry.
Mine too.
It's good toothpaste too.
Either way, not that bad.
It's toothpaste, but it tastes like Crest. Like I said, I just brushed
Yeah.
my teeth before I came over here. It's no different.
Okay, I'm done.
Yeah,
Hi, Carol.
Fuck you! I never got one that did not taste like the bad shit.
he literally never got a good one.
Even though the toothpaste isn't bad, I don't mind it. This
I did
one's
not
kinda
stack the box.
This one isn't bad.
You got hosed.
Yeah.
You got hosed.
I'm glad we ended on toothpaste though, because I really need to get that. I still had some fucking sour milk in the back of my teeth.
Yeah.
Like later tonight, later during the podcast, you're gonna see a weird face. I'll make somebody pick in the back of my tooth and pop out some fucking sour milk
Milk
or
and-
fucking
puke.
some barf is gonna come and. Ugh. And Brian's the only one.
My dog food half-eaten.
Brian's the only one who bitched out and didn't actually finish the jelly bean.
Yeah. Was.
The dog food one probably wouldn't have been so bad if it wasn't on top of the
Oh,
spoiled
the boiled
Yeah.
milk. Yes, I'm like already holding it
That
back.
spoiled
I'm like,
milk
I
was
can't.
fucking bad.
That was not fun.
Oh my! Like how? All right, now here's the thing. You know what's impressive? The science that went into that.
Yeah.
The fucking science
Like,
that
what
went into someone literally getting the exact taste. Because we've all had spoiled milk at some point in your life.
See, the
you
spoiled milk
poured
one I
some
get.
milk on your fucking cereal, or had a glass where you took a drink of spoiled milk, and you know exactly what that tastes like. As soon as that jelly bean hit your mouth and you bit it, you got that exact flavor of that milk. But how did they figure the science out to be able to make a jelly bean taste like that?
Well, see, even that one, I kind of get that because almost
But
everybody
then
knows what
you're
spoiled
about
milk
to say,
tastes like.
who's the
tasted
taste tester?
socks?
Who's
The
the
socks.
taste tester for? Yeah, or like even like who's like, oh, you want here? Taste this dog food.
Well,
now
even
eat the
that
jelly
one,
bean to see if it
damn near
matches.
everybody's tasted dog food at some
Yeah.
point in their lives. I mean, at least
I mean,
as
even-
a child.
I mean,
Whenever-
the crunchy shit, not the wet shit.
Yeah,
That's
but
a good point,
That
yeah.
tasted like the wet stuff though, and the reason
Yes,
you know
that's
is
what I'm saying.
the reason you know is because when you pour it out, it's in the air,
smell.
and you
Yeah.
can just taste it on
Right.
in
I
the
spent
air.
back in
Scent and taste are very close cousins.
2008, 2009.
'Cause
I
you're
used
like-
to deliver dog food.
After you pour
And it took
something
me
out.
right
Goes over the
back
back
to
of your
being
tongue.
there in the
Yeah.
warehouse where they're like rotten open cans of like.
And you
dog
can, it's
food.
in the air. The taste is in the air. Same with the grass. When you mow the grass, you can taste the grass in there, and that's what that one tasted like.
Brian
But yeah,
gonna
like
throw up on my table.
right. But that's the thing, though. The science just amazes me that they were able to mix whatever little chemicals they mixed together to make a flavor that was that.
Do you think there's a taste tester that, like,
Oh, there is.
Oh,
And
no,
then-
there's.
that's
We've
pretty
seen
good,
the
but
documentary
really?
on it.
Oh,
yeah.
There has-
I bet he
the
makes
thing-
more money than all of us.
the thing that's
And
fucked
just
up.
think, the thing is like, oh, that was horrible. Oh, that tastes horrible. But that's not what rotten milk tastes like. It's just disgusting. Try
Right?
it.
yeah.
And
then
you know
they
what
gotta
the,
go
you know what
do
the
the
sad
tweak
thing is that you know that the taste tester, he has to have the actual thing next to it and then the jelly bean so he can be like compare
Yeah.
one, like take a little sip of some rotten milk, some spoiled milk. Ugh. Now eat the jelly bean, same flavor. You
Actually,
got
I would
it.
hope that he
Like-
makes more money.
Yeah.
Right?
Or you're like Guy Fieri with that iron stomach or whatever that guy was on that challenge.
And see, like Jelly Bellies are one of my favorite things in the world. Love them.
Oh, they're great jelly bean.
We got one of those boots from
that could
Ronald
almost-
Reagan back in the 80s.
Yeah,
when
there
they
you
come
go.
out.
That's
That
enough
could-
to ruin
That could almost
for me,
ruin
though.
jelly
Right.
bellies for you. And you know, like we were talking before, you just said you got done going through a bunch of the Harry Potter movies. That right there is exactly what those beans in the Harry Potter movies are supposed to be like. Those
Yeah, that's what started the
the
whole bad
Birdie
Jelly
Bots-
Bellies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Birdie Bots, every flavored beans are exactly what those are supposed to be like. You might
Yeah.
get snot, you might get something amazing,
Earwax. Or,
earwax or whatever, and those are them literally. Like if they could have got the licensing rights and slapped it on there, could have
Some
made
of
it.
the
think they
bad ones
did
aren't that
originally.
bad. Like the toothpaste one, like my kid
Toothpaste
bought
one
me a
was good.
bunch for my birthday and like the goodie bag full of them that you don't know what flavors you're getting and stuff. And to be funny, she put a bunch of the bad flavors in there. I never noticed. None of them were that bad.
Wow.
The toothpaste one, it just like I said, it was just like brushing your teeth. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the one's not bad because I mean, unless you're a Neanderthal and you never brush your teeth, you have that flavor in your mouth, at least once a day.
Well, it's like
So it wasn't bad at all. But that spoiled milk, that was dead on.
have you ever tasted the Dr. Pepper Jelly Bellies?
Yes,
Those things were like sent from heaven.
those
Really?
things are
Dude,
amazing.
they
I've never
taste
had one.
they
Oh,
taste
my God.
exactly like Dr. Pepper, and they're fucking amazing.
You'll eat a million of those without even realizing
Yeah.
it. They're so fucking good.
They have Coke and root beer and Pepsi and all the flavors I think now too, but the Dr. Pepper ones, those things are badass.
I have to try that.
Ugh.
John wanted to talk about road trips.
Yeah.
Well, tripping.
Where your milk spoils when you're out there on the road.
Mm-hmm. Laura posted a picture of this arcade in Wisconsin.
Oh, I saw that.
Who?
Oh,
Laura
man.
Dixon in the Facebook group.
Oh, I hadn't seen that.
You
picture.
seen that? It's old school arcade, like back
Yeah,
in the day,
it's-
pool tables and
Like
pinballs and
pinball.
tables.
Across the thing from the Cass Grand movie theater.
Exactly.
Yep,
that
exactly
kind of-
like that.
That's it. When somebody says arcade, that's
That's
instantly
what-
what
yeah.
I think of.
Yeah, I used to remember playing Mortal Kombat while my mom would be. She's like in line waiting for the tickets. I'm like, I'm gonna go over to the arcade. And
Oh, mine was pole position.
killers.
Yep.
Yeah. For like $15, you can go in, play whatever the hell you want, as much as you want.
Oh,
all
is that
day.
what how
For
they
as
are
long
now?
as you
that's how
Yeah.
that one's set up. It's like $15 entrance fee.
And that makes sense. I mean, that way kids don't got to beat their moms up for a quarter every
Exactly.
5 minutes.
Yeah.
And I think Jackie said road trip, and I thought it was kind of funny because that's kind of what we were going to talk about because that's a really cool destination. Let's start off with, is there any road trip type destinations that you would like bucket list? I would love to see this place before you kick that said bucket.
Mine, and it's not even that I haven't done it before. I just want to do it again with more time to enjoy it. I want to take the whole Pacific Coast Highway all the way up.
See, as soon as you said like a bucket list road trip, I'm like, I remember driving up that was the one first thing popped in my mind. I remember driving up the Pacific Coast Highway.
And I've done it, but I was too young to have any control
Exactly,
of it.
I was little when it happened.
Yeah. I want to do it as an adult.
An adult version of that trip, like where you want to stop at and shit.
And I remember it being amazing. I was 13-ish when I did it, and I was blown away by it.
And that's how one thing you know that's awesome. That whenever, as your 13-year-old self, you were amazed by the beauty and nature of that drive.
I remember we stopped by a petting zoo in Oregon that had it was a regular zoo, but most of it was shit you could play with. But they also had like big cats and stuff. And when they were the smaller ones, like, I got to bottle feed a baby mountain lion at this fucking joint.
Really?
You got to get in a fucking cage with a bunch of, like, several-week-old tigers before they were big enough to really fucking do damage.
When they're still just
fantastic.
like giant house cats.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I mean, I think there was 3 of them in there in a big old pen, just like a petting zoo would be, except it was tigers. This place had, it was
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that fucking the modern regulations have squashed that whole experience.
Pretty good chance that it doesn't exist anymore. But I mean, they were literally, a foot tall or less. But I mean, it was funny
some kid somewhere along the line got scratched or fucking fell or pushed over and fucking ruined it for everybody.
I have pictures. I bottle fed a several-day-old mountain lion at this joint.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and the freaking the tigers. They were running around playing like house cats. But every time, like, a chicken or a goat would walk by outside the fence, they would freeze what they were doing and try to kill it. It was great.
Nice.
Awesome.
Yeah, Pacific Coast Highway, I've driven from Anaheim down to San Diego and stuff, but...
Well, I made that.
I got to do the East Coast equivalent, kind of, from Ocean City, Maryland, on up to Delaware to go see Alex. Drove through Baltimore, got to see the Baltimore Stadium and stuff. It's kind of cool.
I've never been north of Jersey. I've been to every state in the country except for New England, basically. New York up, I haven't seen.
I've only been in New York, like, at the airport.
That's me, yeah. Only time I was through New York was just transferring flights heading across the pond, as they say over there.
That was like
Chicago
the biggest
for me.
disappointment ever. I literally lived in Jersey less than an hour drive from Manhattan. Never went to New York.
Are you serious?
Wow.
You lived there and never went?
Yep.
What the fuck is there to do in Jersey that you don't have to go to New York for?
A lot of fist pumping.
That's where my wife's from. She's from Jersey.
GTL?
Yeah. That's crazy we're talking about that.
No, we
because
lived in, the show Jersey Shore. That's where I lived in Jersey.
He was on the Jersey Shore.
Seaside Heights.
Really?
The same town, yeah.
That's crazy we're talking about that because this weekend, Friday, my wife is flying out there.
Oh, no shit.
They're going, her and her aunt are flying out to Connecticut, then they're going up through to New York and stuff like that.
That's awesome.
This weekend, so they're going to be in New York this weekend doing the whole thing. For the hell of it.
She's gonna get behind on her
visit.
On her
I know she's
Who's spending her newfound fame from the hoops?
Right? Yeah, she's gonna get me into that.
Hoop stitching, stitch hoops. What's like the term?
It's
thingamabobbers that are
thingamabobbers.
These gym-a-jigs are
like, what would you call? What are they called?
I don't know.
I can't remember what the proper term.
I know what they're called because she says it all the time.
She calls them hoop or loop.
They're hoops. They're called hoops, and I can't remember exactly what the stitching's called. And now she's gonna chew me out for it. Embroidery. She doesn't. Yeah, it's embroidery.
Hoop
is what
embroidery.
It is. Yeah,
okay.
It's embroidery hoops.
They're
embroidery hoops. That's what they are. I just could not put those words together in my head for some reason.
We were circling the drain there.
Yeah, we were there. But yeah, no, she's killing it in her little hoop business she has going, man. She has those knuck if you buck ones. She can't keep those in stock, man. They sell the second she puts them up.
That's awesome.
It's like instant money in her account, and she's like, "I'm tired of doing these."
Careful what you wish for.
Exactly. That's what I told her. I'm like, that's the thing that sucks. You got one that's really popular that if I will sit down and make one of these, I'm gonna make money on it. I'm gonna make X amount of dollars this weekend just by doing one of these hoops. But no, she's decided she's gonna take a break from those. She's gonna do a few office quote ones from The Office this weekend. She's gonna work on. Yeah, she's like, I love The Office so much. I watch it all the time. Why have I not done any Office quotes yet? So she's gonna do some quotes from The Office on her next ones.
That's cool.
But yeah, she's selling them like crazy, man.
Heck yeah.
I'm proud of her. Make all that money.
Dude, that's because you can turn something you love into a little bit of profit here.
Right? I mean, that's the thing.
That's hitting that bank twice.
Something she does when she's just, at home, just hanging out watching TV and stuff. Just, she's got to the point where she can just sit there and do it while she's watching TV, and not have to be, like, fully engaged in it constantly. She can still, like, multitask with it. So it's cool as shit.
What What's the most pointless road trip you ever taken?
The most pointless road trip I ever took.
Mine's going to be really similar to Danny's, I think.
You guys took the same one. It was the same one you guys had together.
Several, actually. I can give it. Not even the one he's probably talking about, but one time I bought a new car and we had to take it on a road trip, and we didn't have anywhere to go, so we went to Vegas
For breakfast.
for breakfast. Drove up there, had breakfast, came home.
Nuh-uh.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
You didn't do anything else?
We stopped by walked
The
around a
Hoover Dam
casino.
for a second.
Hung out at the dam, yeah. We've also, at one point, I don't remember if it was the same trip or not. Yeah, it was the same trip. It was the one and only time the overflows at the Hoover Dam have ran since it's been built. They have big bypasses that go around it on both sides. And they were left there in case it starts overflowing so that the water runs through the pipes and goes into the lake.
Not over the road.
Instead of over the dam. And we were there and watched them run.
Really? Were they just testing them?
No, it was full.
Really?
It was overflowing.
It was a while ago.
Fuck.
It was, I want to say that was probably 94?
Ish, yeah. I had the Cougar. And
Back when we actually had those big monsoons back in the day when it used to flood the shit out of
It was the
everything.
year after, it was a few months after 93, all the storms, the flooding in 93.
Right, yeah.
But yeah,
So it
it
still had
literally,
all
we
that
got to
built
watch
up water and
it
shit.
overflow,
That's
and it was
cool.
the one and only time in history that it's happened.
I don't
Since it
think
was
I've
built.
ever had a point, I've had Aimless road trips.
Those are
Where
the
me and
best.
my wife just get in. I mean, you guys do that shit too. Just get in the car and we have no destination for the day. Let's just see where the fuck the world takes us.
Yep.
But they were never pointless. They had a point to them. Let's just get the fuck out of the house and go do something.
Right.
You know, I don't really, because I travel so much, and I have traveled so much for almost every job that I've had, that when I'm traveling stuff like that, it's always for something.
A destination,
so
yeah.
when I have a chance to do leisure stuff, it's not
You don't want to drive.
It's
No,
not
yeah,
traveling,
no.
Yeah, it's not traveling.
I mean,
not
I'll
that
go
way.
to races and whatnot, but
That's still that's your hobby. You're still have a destination.
yeah, there's still a
what you're going
purpose.
for, yeah.
I mean, but
It's not just for the
I
hell
have
of it.
I've never gone on a joyride.
You've never been hey, let's just go to San Diego this weekend for the fuck of
I
it.
have a steering wheel in my hand so fucking often that
That's why she drives.
having it in my hand for no purpose is
That's it. Before I retired, 12 hours a day, damn near, I was behind the wheel of a car.
Right.
Even when I wasn't driving, that was my
You're
office. I was
yeah.
sitting there typing reports and shit, never getting out of it hardly. And
eating donuts.
as soon as I get out of it, I could totally jump in it and drive across 3 states. Doesn't matter. I love
yeah.
it. I could never get tired of it.
It's not that I'm tired of it. It's just I like
You-
a change of pace.
Yeah.
Right.
For Danny, it was still fun to go out and drive around. For you, it's more you're I've been in a car all day long. I want to do something else.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know if I could get sick of it. I think I'd live in a car if I could.
I'm expecting that to happen for him. Don't you see in the future where he's just a fully mobile?
Oh yeah.
Once he doesn't need all the trappings for the 5 million family members that need his house for everything.
He'd have to bring the studio to us.
One
I'm
day
talking about
he's
just giving them the house.
One
and
day I'm
leaving.
about to say one day he's just gonna be fuck it, you guys deal with this shit. I'm out, and he's gonna be living on the
bought
road.
RV, me and Misty are hitting the road.
Right? He's he's gonna.
Brian's
it'll
gonna
be.
send me to Texas, and I'm never coming back.
Hey,
Right.
go pick me up a race car. All right, I'll be back in
He'll
2
drive
years.
back. He'll drive back every couple weeks, and it'll be a mobile studio. Just hey guys, I'm here today. Come by and let's do a quick recording before I head back out.
Little DJ trailer.
Right?
I want to digress a little bit, and a road trip destination that I would like to do is hit, I know we've been there
The
several times and
giantest
stuff, but
ball of yarn.
those are always on my radar.
The thing.
But Tombstone,
Go by,
Jerome,
I do
just
go by
basically everywhere in the Southwest that is a haunted town or has a famously haunted place where, based on real story horror movies and stuff, were set
That's cool.
and stuff like that. I think it'd be cool to just hit one of those, drive the next one to go to it that night, and then the next night. And
We did Jerome a couple of years ago. It was an Aimless birthday. My wife's birthday was coming up, and we didn't really have anything planned for it. And I was like, you know what? Fuck it, I'm gonna take you. We're gonna go on a road trip for your birthday. So we just packed the kids up in the car and we took off. We went up through Prescott, and we happened to stop there on a day they were having some big festival and stuff.
Yeah.
So we did cool shit. Ate food there. Went up through Jerome, spent a few hours there checking Jerome out. Then up through Red Rock and Sedona, all that area, all the way up to Flagstaff, and then just got a hotel room for the night in Flagstaff, and then went across the top there to the meteor crater, down through the petrified forest, came back off the rim. It was just hey, let's just get out of here for your birthday. And it was a badass road trip, but we had no destination. Everything was like, we started driving. We're like, hey, you know what? Prescott's not far here. Let's go to Prescott. Once we got to Prescott, I'm like, you know what? You've never been to Jerome. Let's drive up to Jerome.
That's cool.
And so it's just like, okay, what's next?
Never done that.
You've never done that? Wow.
Never, ever.
We
just jumped in the car and just like, let's just go, and without a plan.
Without a plan, yeah. We didn't even know where we're like wherever. Once it gets too late to still be out, we're tired. We'll just get a hotel wherever the fuck we're at. We're in Flagstaff, so like, let's get a hotel here in Flagstaff. Stay the night.
We got you beat.
Me and John.
Your aimlessness was at least. Oh yeah, we're kind of close to this place. Let's go ahead and stop here. No, I would like call Quinteros and say, hey, north or south.
Oh yeah, you told them
north. And we would just whatever direction people would say, we'd go. And
we're literally just randomly calling people we know and asking for opinions. Which direction should we go at this intersection? We drove all over 4 states doing that.
We did that a couple times. Me, Steve Hook, and Alfred Partita, we jumped in his truck one night and we did coin flips at each stop. Anytime the truck came to a full stop, we flipped a coin on which direction to turn.
Nice.
And we ended up fucking up in Phoenix for a few hours. Then we were way the fuck heading up into the mountains. And then we ended up way the fuck off on some dirt roads somewhere. It was a weird ass fucking trip. It was just coin flips.
We ended up in the middle of Utah.
He ended up back in. We stopped at a Pizza Hut to eat, and then when we were leaving, he didn't pay attention and peeled out and ran over a dude's car. And it was a crazy road trip, man. It fucked all kinds of shit up. But yeah, it was coin flip. So where are we going? We're at this stop.
We were in the south end of Utah at one point, and we thought we were heading home. And this is before GPS and shit, and we didn't even bring maps with us. We were just hoping for the best, see where we ended up.
You drove us
and
5,000 miles the wrong way.
we took off, and we're like,
that John Denver's full of shit.
Seems like we're getting like higher in the mountains and shit, and like 3
this
hours
doesn't
go
seem
by,
right.
and we're like, let's stop at this gas station and ask where we're at. And we had literally been going north for like 3 hours, and we thought we were going south.
Like, where are we? You're in such what state?
What year is it?
Right?
Yeah, it was crazy. And we were in a rental car that we damn near destroyed.
What's the date? It's Wednesday. No, the year.
It was like the last week of June, and we found snow in like somewhere in like northern Colorado. I don't remember the fuck
up in the mountains.
And it wasn't a ton, but we wanted to take a picture of the car parked in the snow.
Oh yeah, there absolutely snow up there in the middle of the summer. Yeah.
We couldn't find a good place to do it, so we just found like a snow bank, and we just drove that car into that snow bank as hard as we could, and got out, took a picture, and fought it back out, and kept going.
We got some very funny looks in Tuba City.
Oh yeah,
City.
I decided the whole way through the town I wouldn't use anything but the emergency brake at intersections and shit.
And we went together and everything. And
don't come through there on a Saturday night and expect a hotel room.
Oh no,
Yeah.
it's ridiculous.
Destruction Derby and the Garth Brooks concert
at the same time.
Yeah.
It's that level.
That level of Tuba City.
You got a Denny's there though.
Yeah.
Hey,
you can get you some pancakes.
That's all you need, man. Denny's has some good ass pancakes now too.
What's funny is driving across the middle of Texas. You find this little shithole, like through the oil fields. You find this little shithole motel on the side of the road, and you're like, this thing can't be more than like $40. How much is a room? $298. What the fuck? I'm out.
Right.
All over the place, just because all the oil field workers have nowhere to stay. The hotel room prices are crazy.
Damn.
They got them bent over a barrel.
Yeah, it's like, what other choice do they have?
Yeah. And then, like every few feet, you see a trailer on the side of the road. Will rent, like mobile homes and shit. Just rentals all over the place, and every damn gas station has like 5 trailers living in the back of it. Everybody's making bank off of that shit.
Except for the oil workers.
Yeah.
Oh no, they're getting paid. They're making $30-$40 an hour out there, roughnecking.
And most of them are working like 2 weeks without
Oh
day
yeah,
off.
2 weeks on, 2 weeks off.
Yeah,
yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
When I flew out there last year to go race, as we kind of descending down, and you're looking out over Texas, it's just fucking
You see
miles and miles. There's just a grid out there of just oil wells, like every fuck.
Most of them
seemed
are
like
drills.
every quarter mile was like, I mean, just like a nonstop grid of oil rigs.
And most of them are drills. Most of them are new ones that are being put in too. It's ridiculous.
Crazy.
It seems like there's more being drilled than there are working.
Crazy.
But I don't know. I don't know where else I would want to go. We've definitely done some crazy shit.
You know what? I have one time that I can now. It came to me finally.
Oh, now he's admitting.
When I was.
I feel comfortable enough to admit something.
Back in this was.
You guys told enough stories now that.
96 or 7 when I went on harvest, and we were up in Montana, and we were in between jobs, like some of the wheat wasn't ready, so we just like jumped in one of the work trucks and just cruised around in like Montana. I mean, fuck, it's a big sky country for a reason. I mean, there's just like, you can just drive and just not run into nothing.
Never see
towns.
another person,
like
house.
You drive and you see like it's a big deal there because I would imagine half the year they've got nothing better to do. But like every fucking like homestead you come across, like up against the highway, they've got like these fucking big tall like archways that has like their name and like shit all cut out and like wrought iron, like fucking tractors and chickens and horses, like these scenes, you know what I mean? Just like these fancy. You can tell they put some love into these fucking, you know, as their name and Smith Homestead or what, like everybody's got one. I mean. But half the time you can't even see the fucking house because there's like so far off the fucking highway and it's out there in the middle of
you see all their wrought iron shit and stuff, and then the road just going off
somewhere within a 10-mile square are the Smiths.
Yeah. I mean, granted there are some that are up close to that, but there's a lot of people that move up there to get away from the society world. And they get away, and Montana's got room. There's a lot of room up there, so. We did that. It was pretty cool. And that was one thing, like, you just don't see around here. Like fucking every other fucking house has its fucking, archway with their name all over it. It's pretty cool.
HOAs wouldn't allow that.
No.
All the like ranch-style gates kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it's literally only ranches have them around here?
Well, yeah. Well, they're all fucking ranches up there.
Yeah, that's true, too.
You're not up there to fucking, work at the grocery store.
No, you got some kind of square.
I cough a little and taste sour milk.
Oh, God,
got me.
That shit.
Yeah, those are still
so bad.
Wearing on my tongue.
I can't think of anywhere that I'm like, I need to go.
One thing that everybody needs
here.
to see, because there's not a lot of reason to go through Kansas, but everybody needs to take a trip through Kansas in the early summer when the sunflowers are about 3 foot tall. In the early morning, when the sun is in the east and you're between the sun and the field, and every fucking flower in that field is facing the sun, and you just look, and then you drive by in the evening and they're facing, they follow the sun. So you drive by in the morning, they're facing you. You drive by in the afternoon, they're facing the other way. But it's very cool to drive by just as the sun's coming up. Like these flowers just like automatically know. I don't know if they just in the middle of the night they just they twist back or whatever because they know where the sun's going to come up. But like as soon as the fucking sun comes up, like it is a very cool experience to have like the sun coming up in a Kansas plain.
Just do it.
Have those sunflowers.
Early summer, not late spring, because that shit did not work out for me. It was beautiful the first day. Second day we had to stay because we were snowed in.
Yeah.
So. Early summer, not late spring.
That's one of those things that's cool about traveling, though, is seeing stuff like that you don't see around home. Like, I mean, can't think anywhere near us where people are farming sunflowers.
Right.
If you see sunflowers, they're growing wild on the side of the road somewhere. You don't see a field.
Well, these
of
are
sunflowers.
mostly wild too. What he's talking about.
No. There's like sunflowers is like a big.
Oh, you can see the farms too, but a lot of times when you're driving, there's just wide open. That's just the side of the road.
Oh yeah, there's like fields that aren't in production anymore where there's just volunteer sunflowers coming up. Yeah. That's what they call it.
I'll come up. Why not? I'll plant myself here today.
That's what it's called. Crops that.
I don't have anything else to do today. I think I'll grow in this field over here.
Growing in a ditch.
Yeah, that's a volunteer.
Right? Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't know that actually. That's
funny. That's funny as shit.
Is that where the Tennessee got their name? They're just. I'll be a university here.
Right. I don't have much else to do. I'll just grow in this field today.
I wonder if people use that excuse. That's volunteer weed plant.
Right. Yeah,
put that shit there.
It decided to grow there on its own, man. I had nothing to do with him.
Fucking smoked a joint there like 20 years ago and fucking up in spring. I mean, what the fuck?
Right. I mean, I clip him down a
And
little bit
10
every
hours
once in a
later,
while
up
and
in
groom
smoke.
him some, but he's,
I mean,
he's
y'all
on
should
his
pay
own.
me for keeping those things under control.
Right.
Right?
They're not growing.
Because otherwise
fucking-
they'd be volunteering all over the
I'm out
fucking
here
place
once
out
a
here.
month.
Those
trimming
vine
these
tree
things.
things that are taking over Florida, I'm stopping that from happening here.
Right? You're welcome, A-Dot.
Tearing up the roads and killing houses.
Imagine see
No,
that
that's-
shit all over the side of I-8.
Yeah. That's like a thing, like in the Midwest, like the roads department, they like pay people to cut and bale the grass that grows in the medians and the bar ditches and whatnot.
Bale it, sell it for
Oh yeah,
feed.
absolutely.
No shit.
They,
Wow.
they
Hey,
pay you to do it.
Does it taste
Probably-
like that jelly bean?
probably
the case,
probably
you know.
cheaper to pay someone to do that, and then
Then
would it
run
be
mowers,
than them
yeah.
to run a crew out there.
And they're
keeping it
actually like
trimmed down and
in
shit.
like stretches, like because I'm being around the farms, I actually started paying attention to like I was up in Minnesota.
Minnesota.
People that actually like
Eh?
clued in on it's basically free acreage. I mean, literally, it's free.
So they
farm
started.
ground.
They
So
started
planting.
They started volunteering shit.
They like planted alfalfa out in front of their, because I guess the situation is whatever the highway bar ditch out in front of your property, like that's also considered your property. Like you got first rights to it. So like they'll just plant alfalfa out there on the roadside and take advantage of the free acreage and just fucking cut it. Because you can get up there. I mean, you only get like 2 cuttings a year, but still, it's fucking free.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm gonna need you to trim that bar ditch. I can't for 3 more weeks.
Right?
Wait.
It's not.
great.
It's not ready for cutting yet, boss. Just give it a little
When he
bit.
seeds Homestead, it changed from alfalfa to barley to whatever. It's just a section of as you drive by.
Come on, fuckers. We know cotton doesn't grow wild out here.
Right?
It's just like
It's volunteering, damn it.
around here, you don't think of like having your bar ditches or roadsides as like usable crop ground.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah.
shit.
You know what I
Well,
mean?
that's
Like,
another thing,
it's
too, is-
Weeds and where fucking wildflowers.
Wildflowers
are.
and shit.
You
Over
go to
there,
the-
it's part of the fucking economy.
That's like driving through like Ohio and shit, where they actually get rain and don't have to irrigate. The
Oh,
farm
yeah.
fields aren't square; they're not
Yeah.
flat.
They're wherever
I mean,
the fuck they clear.
If a tractor can climb it, they'll plant right up the side of the fucking hill.
That's how it is in Montana, big time. Like lots. I mean, it's dry land farming, meaning they don't
Yeah.
irrigate it,
Nope.
and whatever shape it happens to be in, that's what it fucking is. I mean,
It's crazy to just drive by and you'll see a tractor fucking with a plow climbing the side of a
Oh
hill,
yeah,
and you're like, holy
Montana's
shit.
real bad about that. Where we were up in near Great Falls, I mean, it's real hilly country.
Well, I'm about to say they don't have much that's flat up there.
No,
You have a lot of hills.
like
so.
it's and it's a lot of rocks.
You haven't
I mean,
been to
like
their
the,
elementary
the
school,
farms
have
are made of like
That's like-
stones
well, I remember that about Montana. The mountains up there, I think. Isn't it north? All mountains are north.
up north.
Yeah, that's crazy. It's weird. It's just so different. And some of the places, the ones, I mean, there's no such thing as ditches and canals and a
No,
lot of the world.
no.
I mean, if they do
Well,
have
and one
irrigation,
thing,
it's
like-
sprinklers and shit.
Going to parts of the country where the fucking rivers actually have water in them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
you don't,
year
You don't
round.
drive over
Or-
a river.
and
All
there's
year
more than
long.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
like
there's more
every
than
river
one.
you cross has water in it.
Yeah.
like that's just
Blasphemy.
yeah, right. Like,
You're like, God.
what are they doing with all
They're
that
wasting
shit?
all this fucking water, man.
Just constantly
They're just
going
letting
by.
this water flow down this fucking
Build a
river.
reservoir. Build a
fucking-
dam.
Build a dam and put that shit in a canal, man. Stop letting it run down the riverbed.
Shit, like,
It's gonna end up in some other state. Let them.
Right?
No.
You just letting that free water go to Mexico?
Why does that river have water in it? It hasn't even been raining.
I know. Shit, did it rain?
How are you supposed to drive across it?
it was cool.
Is it okay to cross this bridge? There's water
You
underneath
get
it.
to the Mississippi
Like-
and you can't see across it in places and shit.
Oh
You're
man,
like,
it's huge,
river.
Yeah.
dude.
That'd be
I-
pain,
The
like-
Ohio gets pretty wide.
Is this-
I
bridge
went up
safe?
to. I just sold the trailer, but when I bought it 2 years ago, I went to Sioux City, Iowa, to go look at it before I bought it, and I spent a couple days there. And one of the nights, the Ohio River runs right along. It basically splits Iowa and Nebraska.
Mhm.
And so I was staying in Sioux City, but I went to this like nice steakhouse on the Nebraska side, and it was overlooking, the river and whatnot. And this was fucking December, and it was like freaking me out that like this river was like slowly kind of running with these fucking huge chunks of ice floating down this river. And I'm just like freaking out. I'm like, man, that stuff's gonna hit shit. And they're like, this fucking happens every year. Like, the people know what the fuck's going on. They get their boats out of the way, and it's like, I'm like, holy shit, man, that's like fucking Titanic.
There's a fucking iceberg right there.
Like,
can I try and surf one?
Somebody do something about these icebergs.
Right? It's like,
we need flamethrowers.
Right? That's God damn it. That's on our list.
It is very cool to
melting
see,
icebergs.
Like, to be, to look over and like actually I went outside and stood on the balcony and whatnot, and just like this quiet calmness, and it's just constantly kind of. It's like a slight rumble, from the ice.
From the ice hitting each other and shit.
It's very cool to experience that, yeah. It's stuff that, like, shit that you won't see here.
I bet.
No.
I mean, it's as foreign to us to see that as it is for fucking somebody in Nebraska to fucking see a saguaro cactus.
Right. When I went to Indiana, I had at least 2 people ask me, like, about tumbleweeds. Like, they were, like, do they really chase you? Like they're animals. I'm like, it's a dead bush, man. They go where the wind blows.
It's a mobile weed.
Yeah.
Is it really a danger?
When we were in Jersey, there was tons of people from Ireland in the summer there because it was close enough that a lot of like college-age kids from Ireland would fly over and work for the summer and stuff. And we'd get questions like that all the time.
Oh my God, I just realized that to like the rest of the world, a plant that is mobile is very foreign.
Well, like most of the Irish people we met thought Arizona basically looked like the Sahara.
Yeah, you get that a lot.
Oh, like
you get sand dunes.
You
Yeah,
bet they hear desert. They think it's a desert.
They all thought we had camels wandering loose everywhere. Like it was just like you walk out your door and you're having to dodge the camel to get out the driveway.
It's like everybody assumes Alaska. They live in igloos up there.
Yeah, like it's Alaska's covered in ice.
They're civilized,
and they're like fighting polar bears and eating seals the whole time.
They have bushes up there too.
Right, like
there's like a company devoted to it.
Yeah, they
what?
There's bushes run rampant in Alaska too.
They're volunteers.
Yeah,
volunteer bushes all over Alaska.
There's a company that handles that whole.
Oh, good.
The Alaskan bushes.
Alaskan bushes.
I'm not sure that's in Alaska though.
No,
the
company's here because the bushes are way too
just
bad up there.
Them.
Yeah,
Just import them.
But no, it is funny how people like think that about like every state has its reputation. Like this is what's in that state. Like what's it like over there? Oh my god!
Yeah.
I just love that. Did the tumbleweeds really chase you?
Yeah.
And it's so funny too. Like shit, you don't think about like just forever. You can't drive past like going like over 387 without seeing somebody with an out of state license plate taking pictures of a saguaro.
Right?
Saying stick them up.
Yeah.
Every time I drive up through between the freaking peaks right there, going up to I-10, coming off the 87, going right between there, I always see at least one car parked with someone out taking a picture of the side of the mountains and shit.
Or the cotton fields. You always see people in the cotton fields taking a picture of cotton
Dude,
too.
there's a guy out by 11 Mile Corner, just like across to the east, and he's got like this. I call it a hobby farm. He's got like maybe 80 acres there, but like he gives tours.
A little bit more than a hobby, I think.
No, right? he gives tours to these winter visitors. Like they'll jump on, and I'm like, what in the fuck are these people going?
It's one of those things where it's bleachers on a trailer.
Yes, he literally fucking pulls them around and shows them an alfalfa field, and then he's got he's harvested most of his cotton, but he's got like 1 acre that he left alone that's still like cotton plants standing there. You can drive by there and see it right now, like. And the people will fucking get out and like wander through it like fucking Field
Winter
of Dreams.
Wonderland.
Like they're like
shit's amazing.
They're like, take my picture next to this cotton plant. Yeah. I'm like, are you fucking for real? You've never seen a cotton plant, but then again, like fuck, they probably haven't.
Well, it's like just in California.
Like this is what our pants are made from, George.
In California last week, saw the Vans windmill tours. They were driving around touring the big-ass windmills.
Right, yeah.
You can't see shit that you can't see from the highway.
Yeah.
Right.
It's not like they're letting you climb in those motherfuckers. Yeah.
You can't ride them.
There's one. There's another one. There's one.
Oh, look at that one, Bill.
Yeah.
And look at that one over there.
That guy probably makes pretty fucking good money touring these fucking old geezers around on that tractor.
Probably more than he would farming.
I just want to hear the dialogue of the tour, because you see people doing like the New York tour, like the Sex and City. This is where Carrie Bradshaw did this. This is where one time we had a cow over by that windmill, and this windmill broke down 3 days ago.
This is out. Right? He takes them on probably about an hour-long fucking tour. Like I've seen him, going back and forth. I've seen him like puddling around with the same group of people for about an hour.
If you look to the right, you'll see cotton plants, But at the bottom of it, you see a volunteer wanting glory. That is not welcome here.
Who wants to pick weeds?
Right?
Get them to pay to
Exactly.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Awesome.
Fucking
I was
paid
waiting at
labor.
some point for you to say that he has fields where they can go out and pick the
Actually,
shit on
yeah.
him and pay him to do his job.
You can run a plow for only $20 an hour.
Right?
We'll film it.
Right?
Give you a complimentary fucking disc at the
Right?
I went
When you
bungee
get to
jumping.
the end of the road, there'll be a camera that'll snap a shot of
Don't
you.
fucking stop though.
Don't go woo, because you got to keep your hands on the wheel.
Yeah. They're all comparing stories. I went bungee jumping. I picked weeds out of a ditch.
I plowed 40 acres.
Yeah.
It's a lot harder to walk through a cotton field than I thought it would be.
Especially with that big old burlap sack. We had to pull. He wouldn't let us out until it was full.
That's
No, I
the
don't
thing
care
that
what
cracks up when
anybody
you're talking
says.
about them like walking
Weeds
through
and
the
cotton
field
plants
and
look
shit
exactly
like
the
this.
same.
I've had to walk through cotton fields because I needed to get somewhere quickly, and I fucking hated it. There's no way I'm gonna go walk through a cotton field as like a fucking vacation
Right.
trip. Like,
I started working when I was 12, and it was my first legit paying job that actually paid, FICA and Medicare and all that shit on was chopping weeds, and I was like the lone white kid out there.
but yep.
They just threw me in with the Mexican crew that had come out of Eloy. And it wasn't so bad in the early summer, but by August, and I'm fucking 5 foot, and this fucking cotton is 5 foot tall. Holy fuck! You want to talk about miserable fucking conditions?
Why is it
Well, I
not
could
5
just-
foot tall anymore?
Oh, they
Is it just totally different breeds now?
The way that
Well,
they've like crossbreed and strained it to make it.
Yeah,
Because I remember literally when we were
used to
younger,
be,
it was 5 feet
It doesn't
tall.
grow as high anymore, but
But
it
produces more.
produces more cotton.
it's fucking,
They've genetically engineered that shit so it
Yeah.
doesn't grow as high. Because like my
They
grandma
call it white
comments on that
kush.
all the time.
Yeah.
Because it's
My-
like 3 foot tall now.
Yeah,
It used to be-
it's real short, but it grows more. It produces more per bush
Basically,
than what it did.
they put more. They've got the seed that's put more effort into fruiting than.
Yeah, I mean,
Put a little
again,
more
we're
hitch
talking
and it's
about
giddy up.
science, finding ways to crossbreed the plants and work them up through scientific methods to make
Because
it
first
so
it
it
came
does more.
down the pipe where they would like chemically treat them with a chemical called PICS, and it would basically like stunt the
Stunt the
vertical
growth.
growth and get the plant to put more energy into
Outward.
fruiting than growing vertical. And so you just picks it and just kind of do it, and then they finally just do it with the seed. I
kinda
don't
fruity.
think they have to use much picks anymore for it to.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but I remember that. Like, there's times you're trying to get from A to B, and you see a cotton field. You're like, oh fuck, all right,
Right?
We're cutting through the fucking cotton field because we got to get over there, and I don't want walking around
Yep.
this bitch.
What really sucks is it's nice and dry for like the first 25
Oh yeah, and then the
it's-
rest of it's fucking sopping.
Then after you get that and you're soaked
come
on
out
your
in
knees
the
and mud.
Muggy fucking
from
humid.
from
oh.
your like mid thighs, the rest of the way down,
You're
your
just
pants
far
are
enough,
just
you're
fucking
committed and don't want
soaked.
to turn around.
Yeah.
And,
Fuck this! I'm gonna make it.
yeah.
Same thing though.
Good times.
When they were
Good
just
times.
tilled or whatever and it was dry, you'd like, all right, this is not bad.
Not
I'm
bad.
only going through a full lot
We're
or
just
whatever.
cutting this corner here.
About 10, 20 feet in, you're like knee deep, trudging through just powdered dirt.
Your shoes haven't shipped for like 6 months.
Right.
Every step is plowed.
Fucking get
comes
home.
out.
Your mom. Where the fuck have you been?
Right?
Take those shoes
And
off.
when you get to the end, you take your shoe off, and literally you don't have your foot still in it because you dump so much
Yeah.
fucking fine ass dust
At least
out of
a
that
foot's
bitch.
worth of dirt.
Yeah, like just pouring out of that motherfucker, and it
Yeah,
seemed
and
like a
then
good
That
idea
dirt
at the
lot
beginning
between
to
the
cut
Betsy
that
Ross
corner.
apartments and Vacayenne,
Oh, yeah.
we walked
Right?
across that thing tons
And
of
So
then when
many
you
times.
get there, then the Jelly Belly guy's got to suck your sock to make a bean out of it.
Right?
Good God.
Yeah, and
That
it's
guy.
still lingering on my tongue.
It's horrible.
Sour motherfucking milk.
Ugh.
Even after the other ones, I still taste the milk. It's
No, the milk was the milk stuck
Yeah.
with you the longest. Like
You
it's
know, I
still
had,
there.
This morning I had, we ran out of Coffee Mate, and luckily my daughter, she bakes cakes a lot, so we had fucking like heavy whipping cream in the
Oh,
fucking
yeah.
deal. So I had heavy whipping cream in my coffee and on my oatmeal. And so like I've got that flavor, and
Wow.
it's like kind of, it's going to ruin it if I have to do it again.
Speaking, I had a kind of
That's what I was
weird
thinking right
experience
now, I'm
with
like-
shit like that.
I was thinking like if I get home because I like eating. I was thinking about bought a new pack of Oreos. I'm looking at some Oreos and milk. Now I don't want to go home and have
That
milk
yeah.
because like right now I'm sour. I'm sour
You're gonna
on
smell
milk.
it.
Yeah,
all
this-
milk smells bad.
all milk is gonna
Oreos
smell
and
bad,
fucking
yeah.
Coke.
I had a weird experience with flavored milk one time that's kind of like
Ugh.
that. Fucking ruined it forever. I had work a call one time where I basically had to deal with a dead body that had been in a fucking house for probably 5 or 6 days in the middle of the summer with no air conditioning.
Awesome.
And this shit permeates your nose. I mean, if you've ever smelled it, it stays with you for days. You can't get rid of it no matter what you do. It just doesn't go away. And John just happened to show up that night, and they had just came out with that fucking caramel-flavored milk. What was that shit called? The Dulce de Luce and shit. Oh. And he'd stopped at the gas station and got one. He got one for me because he figured I'd want to try it, right? And he comes over, and he's like, hey, dude, I got this for you. And I'm like, that's fucking cool. It looks good. I open it up, and I taste it, and I'm like, no.
Dead
I
body.
can't drink it. That tastes to me like what a dead body smells like. I can't drink it. And because it was still so fucking fresh and permeated in my face, in my nose and shit, it tasted like dead body to me. And done. I've never been able to drink it.
Good job,
since.
John.
Sorry.
Nice work. Ruining Dulce de
Dulce de
Leche.
I fucking it just I'll never forget that shit. Because as soon as I taste it, I'm like, no.
It's actually like if you get it actually at like a Mexican legit place, it's more like a slush. It's like a milk slush.
Oh, this was like fucking
just flavored
carnation
shamrock or whatever.
Shamrock. It was the shamrock. I remember when that came out.
My bad experience with flavored milk. Went to Eloy with Manuel to help him move.
How much flavored milk is there?
Oh my god, damn!
There's quite a bit.
It's not how much milk there is. It's how much experience you have with it.
One of his family members had to move a piano, and of course, we're teenage guys that are pretty big, so we got invited. We got volunteered to go move this piano.
Volunteer piano movers.
And we stopped at Circle K, and they bought us like a hot dog and a soda or whatever for our troubles. But I wanted a quick strawberry milk. And we're driving back to town.
Gross.
We're in the bed of a truck. I pop it open. Glug, glug. Puh. Go to spit it out because it felt like something
solid
was in there, yeah. And when I went to spit it out, it was like this gel coming out of my mouth. I don't know if they it was 90% flavoring, 10% milk, or what the deal was with that because it didn't taste rotten, but it was just gel.
The mix was off, whatever the flavor. Oh.
The date was off.
Yeah, I haven't had packaged strawberry milk like that since.
The problem I had with flavored milk was in my...
Back in my day, we didn't have flavored milk.
First time I had a problem with flavored milk was when my wife started pumping for the first time, and it was a weird flavor when I picked that
up. I'm not shitting you. Fucking
been eating asparagus.
Sitting there watching TV, and after my wife had her first kid, and we're real quippy back and forth and talk shit, whatever. And I'm like, I said something smart ass and fucking like, I turn back to the TV, and I'm not shitting you, from me to fucking Danny, and fucking like. Laser shot squirting me in the fucking eye with titty milk. I'm like,
holy shit.
At first I was grossed out, but then I was like, that's awesome. That's your fucking accurate.
How can we transform this into something other than what it is right now?
Let me film it next time.
Right? You know what's weird about milk is I remember when I was younger, I used to just drink milk for like a glass of milk. I can't do that now. No. As an adult, I just can't have a glass of milk. It has to be with something.
Only like adults.
Yeah, it's got to be a cake or like Oreos. Or
only adults that I know that like religiously drink milk are dairymen.
Yeah,
and obviously they've got.
I like it. I just never think.
Yeah, me too. Like,
I'm
never sitting there like playing my video games. I'm like, oh, you know what? I need a nice cold glass of milk right now.
I've never done that.
No, like, and when I was a kid, I'd be like, oh, I'll just go, and then get
at lunch. You'd take everybody else's milks, or
you'd like, yo,
pay the extra
you can drink your milk.
No, you'd be like the rock star. You like fucking round up everybody's milk.
Yeah. Like. I mean, I just remember I'd come home from school and just pour myself a glass of milk and drink it and shit when I was younger, but you can't do that now.
No,
not me.
Well, we know you have trouble with milk, bro.
Oh, that was way after I didn't deal with a whole lot of dead bodies as a child.
Yeah, just a couple.
Jeez.
We had to walk down train tracks and shit.
Y'all want to see a dead body?
And cross through some ponds with some leeches and shit to find a dead body.
Oh man, that pie eating contest when that one guy threw up.
All over the place, yeah.
God, that was horrible.
That's
another good times though.
I could just never do other than what we just did is an eating contest.
Really?
Like those professional hot dog
were they like? Oh, me
shit?
neither. Yeah,
like ruins the experience for you.
Someone like eating 87 hot dogs and like they're dipping their hot dogs in water to make the bread mush to go down.
I feel like I saw this one picture on the internet where it's like they're like a pie eating contest and there's like 3 like men and women, whatever, like just fucking going to town on this pie, and like the fourth guy's just fucking got his legs kicked back on the fucking table, just like slowly eating his pie. He's like, what? It's free pie.
I was gonna say, if there's no entry fee, grab a fork.
It's fucking free pie. What the fuck?
Like, I mean, I could see getting
really
down.
Lose? I mean,
I could see getting down on one of those challenges where it's like you
milk?
and X number of friends eat the giant pizza. I'm down for that kind of shit.
I think we could take that pizza on.
Right? Yeah. See, I'm down for that. Like, if we want all to get together and try to eat one of those giant pizzas, I'm down for that, man. Give me a couple beers, a giant pizza. Even if we don't finish it, we're gonna have good conversations and a great time. But I don't want to sit there and try to shove 47 hot dogs down my fucking throat. Yeah, I mean.
Like, what do you like? Do you think like they all just pretty much barf after that? Like, just fucking. They got.
You know what the crazy thing is? It always seems the champions and shit.
They're
all skinny motherfuckers.
Pounds,
yeah, they're
dude,
like
that one Chinese chick that's fucking like one of the best. She's fucking like 100 pounds.
Yeah,
like
there's that one Asian guy that always wins he was the professional hot dog eater guy at Coney Island for their contest for years.
Nathan's
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they're always the skinniest little. Like they're like skinnier than my 7-year-old.
The one that I'm thinking of was a little dude.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe it was a dude. Just
it's crazy. I'm like, okay, you ate 47 hot dogs yesterday, and you're like one of the skinniest little peoples in the world.
He's got to barf that shit out, like.
And then he doesn't get to eat again for like 3 weeks.
How can your body process that?
I don't think it can.
I don't think it can either.
Like, hot dogs are not the fucking healthiest. Like,
you probably look like a Nathan's factory for a week after that.
Like, that's what hot dogs.
But it's in a tube.
It's good though. I'm not denying it. I mean, I eat it. I eat the shit out of it.
I love me a fucking hot dog.
Yeah.
Hot dog and
bologna. If you knew how they were made, I know how they're made.
Give a
they're
fuck.
fucking delicious.
Right. I hate that shit. When people are like, if you knew what really went into having that,
it's like, dude, you can
whatever,
serve me
blah,
dead
blah,
babies.
blah. You're eating.
They're delicious.
And they're not going to cause you harm?
I wonder how long would it take us to get to eating dead babies?
Soylent Green is people.
It's people.
Apparently,
so what?
It jumped straight from hot dog to dead baby.
Dead baby. Like there was nothing else out there.
Segues.
He could come up with that would be bad to eat, but dead
there we go.
Veal.
See?
Barbecue sauce, it'll fix anything.
The animal version of dead babies.
Yes.
Veal.
Lamb chops.
You feel better? You feel better? Veal.
Do you know what adult lamb chops are called? Muttons. Or mutton chops.
Mutton chops.
Yeah.
Aren't they pork chops?
No, they're lamb.
But yeah, I mean, that's the same thing. Like, I don't give a fuck how the animal was killed or blah, 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 or what bad things. It's food. That's we eat.
Where do you draw the line? Right about here.
Well, we know he draws the line with after dead babies.
Motherfucker.
He doesn't draw it before dead babies or
live
dead babies. He draws it at live babies.
Yeah, no live babies.
I've obviously been hungrier than you in the past.
But
obviously.
In his defense,
or at least
dead babies are way further on the right than live babies.
There's
a lot of stuff in between.
There's a lot of stuff in between.
He's not like chewing the arm off of his own children or nothing.
Not while they're alive, at least.
Yet.
He's got one on the way.
We'll
Who
see what
knows?
happens.
You got two of those fuckers.
I wanted to talk about AI, but on the kind of almost the same subject that it's just something that keeps coming up a lot.
AI the movie or AI the basketball player?
We can all of it. All of it. I wanted
AI,
to cover.
AI.
I wanted to cover everything in that.
What's happening now?
What's happening now?
But have y'all had any experiences lately where you're like,
oh my god, I know where you're going with this.
You're sitting there, you have a conversation with somebody, and you say, that fucking new horrible dead people tasting milk is out finally, and then you open up Facebook and there's an advertisement for the horrible dead tasting milk. Like you just have a conversation or you talk about something.
Where it fucking
and then it just happens to be the next thing.
And you're like, yeah, did my phone hear me talk about that and decide to show me that ad?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Have you guys had that experience? Because it seems like everybody has recently. Where you talk about...
I saw a meme about it today.
Was talking to a guy on the phone, a supplier of compost up in Phoenix, and like the next day, he showed up as a friend request.
Well, that's probably because he sent you a friend request.
No, he didn't send me a friend request. People you might know thing.
Really?
And I'm like, we have zero mutual friends.
Yeah.
And like, here's just this random dude. And I'm like, at first I'm like, because I'm not great with names, and I'm like, fuck, that name sounds familiar. And then after like the second time I was talking, I was like, holy shit, like fucking Facebook knows I talked to that guy. Like I'd had one conversation with the guy in my life at that point.
Yeah.
Didn't know him from fucking a hole in the ground fucking before that. And here, within 12 hours, I get fucking people you might know, and I'm like,
And those are the ones that are weird too. The people you might know when it says 0 contacts in common,
Yeah.
you're like, why do you think I know this person
Like,
on
did I
Facebook?
pass him at a fucking
Like,
restaurant?
it's all-
I've had the friend thing happen real recently too. I don't remember who it was, but we were having I can't remember who I was talking to, if it was John or somebody else. I was talking about somebody we didn't like somebody that is, I don't even remember who it was now. I just remember it was somebody
do.
like, huh? Do you?
Yeah.
So something we can say?
No.
Okay.
He's sitting over here to the left.
You're gonna have to
You can't
remind me
say
because
that.
I really don't remember who it was. But it was somebody we didn't like, and then even worse. I think I know which one you're talking
Okay.
about. I think so. No,
We were talking about we
It's somebody who thinks we like
we were
them,
talking
but
about
no.
multiple people we don't like.
So I had this happen, and I remember how the story went now. I had this happen, and I happened to tell him about it over the phone, and we were talking about weird coincidences like that where your shit's listening to you and spying on you. And he called me back about an hour later and said, "You're not going to believe what had just happened." And it was another story that we can't really talk about on here, but it was about somebody that we dislike that we hadn't heard from for a while and needed to hear from. And they literally contacted
Sent an instant message like 20 minutes after the conversation.
after we had the conversation about weird
Like,
shit
you hadn't
happening.
spoken to him in years?
Yeah, well,
Not years, but a substantial. It had been.
Just
In-
throw it
in
out
the-
there,
in the-
man.
in the year range.
Throw it
It
out
had
there.
been.
What's the worst that could happen?
It had been a certain amount of time.
Are they listening to our podcast, really?
It had been a certain amount of time that
I
may
don't
or
know.
may not relate to how long the studio has been at this house.
Oh, okay, I got you.
See, I'm still lost.
But it was just weird. So that's been happening a lot. So I was curious if that's just us and like it's you just happen to catch the newest Ford commercial on television and then you open up your phone and it happens to be on Facebook too right there in front of you as soon as you open it.
rewind a little bit. The people you might know. The people you might know thing. There's algorithms, catchphrases. Catchphrases? Oh, that's not exactly what I meant. But, okay, let's say I was talking about, man, last year
Buzzwords.
Comic-Con was awesome. And I can't wait to go to No Fly Zone again this year. And Mike Thompson in Phoenix also went to Comic-Con and No Fly Zone and talked about it in their posts.
Right.
They'd be like, well, you guys were at the same events. You guys might know each other. If not, fuck, you like the same shit, you know? So that makes sense, but not when we're sitting here talking person to person,
Right.
and then Facebook's like, wait a second, did you say you like chocolate? Check out this new chocolate. It's awesome.
Right.
You know?
It's crazy. It's
It's going
scary.
to pop up any minute now. If one of us opens up our phone, there's going to be a rotten milk advertisement.
Right?
But so AI, the thing I wanted to bring up, I saw somebody else talking about this recently. What are you scared of it? Artificial intelligence, not the sports player.
I've watched some videos.
Because every single, we've been scared of AI since anyone first even thought about it. Like,
Are robots going to get smart enough that they take
exactly?
over?
And why would they take over though? Every single movie you see, the robots decide to take over and destroy us.
I think
every single video I've watched on this subject, where they get the super AI, creepy faced robots that they get talking to each other, whatever, it ultimately ends up with, no, I won't take over the world. That would be mean. These people are like my pets. Or, maybe we can get together and take over the world. Ha, ha, ha. I mean, without that being programmed as anything that they would talk about,
Right.
they at least joke about taking over the world.
And the example I heard that made me kind of think about it, and it was a good point, and I wish I could remember where I saw it at now, but when AI was really scary, we were thinking about, we have to build this robot to drive our car, we have to build this robot to cook our dinner, and then that robot is going to have to learn how to drive the car, get better at it, learn how to cook dinner, get better at it, whatever the case is, and it's going to get so good at it that it can take over. Now, you don't build a generic robot that can do anything. You build a car that can drive itself. You don't need to build something to drive the car. You don't need to.
You don't need a chauffeur.
You don't need
robot.
to build something to go shopping for you. You
don't need to
have
build
your phone
fucking
go
Rosie
shop
from
for
the
you.
Jetsons to clean your house. You get a fucking Roomba and it drives around and does
You
it
have
for
a self-cleaning for you. Have a dishwasher.
very
you
specific
have-
jobbed
Right.
robots.
Yeah.
Exactly.
what
And
you're
yes,
saying.
they're going to get better at driving the car, but they're never going to be able to walk away from that
Yeah, but
car.
it could be
and go
like
in your
Mad
house.
Max or where they start attacking you.
Maximum Overdrive.
No, that's Maximum Overdrive, bro.
Overdrive, right.
I really wish they would remake that movie, by the way, because I think it was just such
the
a good
premise,
movie, being old and
the
shitty.
The premise of it is so good.
Yeah.
Minus two things.
Batteries not included.
Yes.
Emilio Estevez?
No. The electric knife.
Uh-huh.
It can turn itself on. It can turn itself off. That's all that it could do. It doesn't matter how smart that knife is. It has two functions. Slicey or not slicey.
Right.
It's not going to be able to attack you.
Yeah.
But in theory, though, I mean, that's the Maximum Overdrive theory, but AI is different because in theory it's self-learning.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
well, it learns it wants to cut you, but it's still
Well,
not
I
going
mean,
to physically be able
right,
to.
exactly.
You have the whole where it gets scary is when they talk about like the big supercomputers that like the government would be using to run things, and if those could get a hold of like Terminator situation, gets a hold of the nuclear, Skynet goes active, gets the nuclear codes and decides we're an issue, and needs to take man out because we're destroying the world.
I would imagine that they can only get as smart as the microprocessor that you install. Like it's almost like people, like we all can use a certain
that's easy to say, but
like you can't take like say this phone compared to a phone fucking 10 years ago, whatever. Like that phone from 10 years ago could never do what this phone does if they don't fucking. I mean, regardless of how
But if you teach it to be self-aware and self-learning,
yeah, but it can't expand its own.
But it
memory.
can.
There's these two robots that had a
argument about
conversation, and within an hour of talking to each other, they started talking in code.
They designed their own code.
They made their own language
that humans have never broke.
Really?
They can't figure it out. Mm-hmm. Like the video I was watching recently, they invented a robot. It looked basically like a dog. It was a four-legged robot that had joints and shit, but one of the
looks
legs,
so sad when you kick it.
Yeah, but like the head was another arm and basically a manipulatable hand. And they built it, put it in a room, and it had artificial intelligence. It was self-learning, and before long it figured out how to go up to a door and open the doorknob, open the door, close it behind itself. It literally taught itself how to escape the room. So that's what scares people, in theory.
Well, then it just seems like everyone's so dead set that if you ever do get true AI in a robot, they're going to turn on us. Like, that's just all. You've seen that from the beginning through all movies, novels, any kind of mythology about AI. It always goes bad. For some reason, they're always
the
making
key
convinced.
is to not fall into the fucking laziness thing of making them solar powered to where like they still have to rely on us for something.
All we have to do is survive until the battery dies.
Yeah, or like just throw water on the motherfucker. So, you know what I mean? Like there's gotta be, or like a fucking like a garage door opener, like clicker.
But then again,
shut it
like
off.
you were saying though, it's gonna be like everything's specific. There's only be certain situations where something's gonna be designed to where it's gonna learn and go to that position.
Because there's gonna
having
be
a higher
some
consciousness.
fucking asshole that fucking will be like, well, I can make one that's better, that can do more. Mm-hmm. And then there's going to be another asshole that be like, well, my robot can do that and more. And then there's going to be a third asshole that
what if that already exists, but that fucking thing has learned so much, every time somebody puts up a video of it, it zaps it down before you can see it.
And
well, here's the thing, like, okay, what if you do get this consciousness? It's a digital consciousness. What says that stay in a robot? What if it's connected to the internet?
It's in the cloud.
Could it just download its mind into the servers out there, so you could never get it?
Like Johnny Depp.
You can't throw water on it because it's everywhere.
Or what's the movie?
The Johnny
Lucy.
Depp movie.
Lucy. No, the newer Lucy.
Oh, the Scarlett Johansson one.
Yeah.
And like, okay. If a human gets hurt,
fuck it, let her take me.
Yeah. If a human gets hurt, what in the world is best at fixing that human?
Doctor?
Another human.
Opium.
So you get a robot.
Milk of the poppy?
You get a robot that is self-aware and self-learning and gets to the point where it can. Why couldn't it procreate? Make other robots to do its bidding, build an army, whatever the case may be.
Like
and
Ultron.
also intelligence equals ownership of the earth. Mm-hmm. Like, humans are the top of the food chain, even though one-on-one a bear would kill us. But we own the planet. And everything below us is food or a tool. pretty much. I mean, I know there are people out there that think differently, but as a general rule, if you're a human, you're here, everything else is way down here somewhere. Well, once robots get to the point where they've learned and have the processor or whatever that can process and learn faster and more, why wouldn't they look down on us as food or a tool?
Or sex.
Right, especially if the original programming was done by a human.
Says the guy who'll eat a baby.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, it's. I mean, I read a lot of science fiction, so I've seen so many different versions of where, like, AI could go and what it could develop into and stuff like that, and like, would it be a bunch of individuals? Like you said, like this robot here, this robot there. They're like copies of human beings walking around that are all robots, like Ex Machina. I don't know if you guys saw that movie. Is it going to be like that, or will it be like an overall consciousness,
like one robotic
one
mind.
massive? Like I said, like if one AI mind got so advanced enough and it got itself like out into the web, because that's connected to every computer, connected to all of our phones.
Facebook?
It could
Refrigerators, everything.
refrigerators, everything. Like, it could have copies of its mind everywhere. So there's no way to get rid of it, and it would be everywhere.
And
at
everything
once.
it sees or hears,
Like
it's
Facebook.
learning.
Like Facebook.
Yeah. Exactly.
So I mean, because Facebook, it would be running the algorithms and everything the same way like what Facebook does and stuff. But I mean, all of us have in our pockets our phones, which have microphones on them and cameras, and everyone's also talking about, well, the government can turn those on and hear and listen. I mean, so could some, like, if an AI did get loose into the web and had itself copied all over the place, what's to stop it from hearing everything going on everywhere in the world at one time and processing all of it?
The whole government being able to turn on shit and listen and stuff, that's very, very real.
But I'm saying, though, that, like, if humans could do that, what would
This
stop...
is the robot I don't want to see.
Getting
AI.
What would stop an artificial intelligence
Ray, we
that
love
could
you,
do
but
the same?
if your robot takes over, you're an enemy.
I'm sure he'd be the first victim.
Right? How many times have you had me destroyed, you
Stop
bastard?
abusing my ass. I'm sick of you.
Well, and that's a lot in a lot of the fiction and stuff. That's a lot of things that, originally we're talking about creating robot servants, and then once they get consciousness, being like, why should we be serving these humans? Why should we be taking out your trash and doing this and doing that? And and it didn't end up going that direction. Like, people realized we don't need to build a robot to drive a car. We build a car that can drive itself.
Right.
I actually was introduced to AI back in like the mid '90s. Oddly enough, out on the farm. With drip irrigation, we had this one guy from Australia that had like a test plot of like 20 acres out on the farm out here west of town. And one of the things that he was thinking about doing was you put sensors in the soil that tells, moisture content, nutrient content, all this and that. And so you input those into the irrigation, pump station, and also have sensors on the plants. So basically the plants and the soil and everything starts talking to each other, and the irrigation system becomes an AI unit of taking inputs from other things and making decisions based off of these things.
Yeah. Like, this field needs water now, but this field doesn't need water yet. Like, we should run this, not run that.
And the one thing, and that you guys haven't brought up, that he actually brought up to me, and is kind of interesting, is like, there's back then, he's like, there's a lot of people that are kind of afraid of this AI stuff, because you're basically creating a entity that has no soul. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And that was like a big thing. Like
well, that comes up a lot.
It made sense to me. Like it's like yeah, that's kind of true. You're basically giving birth to this being
that has
unnaturally.
No emotions, no remorse,
no soul, no conscience.
Well, we've talked about it on here before.
Caring if a baby's dead or not, they'll eat it anyway.
Yeah,
we've talked about that on this on here before. I got to tour an active duty destroyer, and they were talking about how that destroyer has the ability to be fully automated. Like, for defense, they could literally draw a perimeter around it and hit a button, basically. I mean, I'm sure it's not that simple, but if something
It's not
crosses,
far off.
yeah, if something crosses that perimeter, it kills it.
Yeah.
Automatically.
And
The ship figures it out by itself.
It can make the decision and destroy that before the human could even register
Right.
something to enter that zone.
But they're not allowed to use it for that reason, because you can't take the decision making, the soul part of the decision making, out of it, because you have to be like, well, do we really need to kill everybody that crosses that perimeter, or should we be judgmental
I'd say
about it?
that's well.
And then that's one of the other things too, though, that if true AI ever does happen, that a machine actually gains full consciousness, would it not? Doesn't that entail that it would have emotions?
I think it ultimately,
Maybe.
in any
Could,
situation
could,
where
could it feel rage? Could it feel pleasure? Like not physically, but mental.
How would you program that though? Because everybody experiences those emotions differently.
And that's what they're saying though. Once the machine actually reaches that stage where it has a full consciousness, it might not understand why it's mad or what mad is, but it would feel that.
almost like a kid with.
Because like,
See, I don't know
your
if I
kid,
know if I want a
not
super
Alzheimer's,
robot
but,
being emotional,
autism.
and not knowing why,
Like a kid with
and
autism,
making,
you know what I mean?
making
But
those
that's-
decisions on an emotion that they
see,
don't
but
even know
that's
why
the
they're
whole
feeling
thing.
that
That's
emotion.
you got to think about it though. That's like,
I'm going to
think
kill
of
this
your-
person. I don't know
Think
why.
of your child. Think of your child. Your kids. They don't understand what anger and.
You're about,
You know,
I'm about to catch a pinky in the.
they don't
fucking eye
understand,
right
you teach them that stuff, that what these emotions mean, how you deal with those emotions, how you handle them. So it'd be like, once it gets full of consciousness, it'd be like it's a child. It doesn't understand these emotions it has. You got to teach it about them, and they can understand.
And I
And
wouldn't
that's
let
where
that
people
child
get
drive me
scary.
around in my car until
That's
they
where
understand
people,
those emotions.
See, that's where people get scared. That if it happens, who's going to teach? What's this machine going to do before someone can teach it what these emotions it's having
Or
are?
who's going to be the teacher?
And why it shouldn't be doing those?
What if
And
Hitler's
exactly.
the one teaching this thing?
I think
Oh,
that
yeah.
road in between emotionless, soulless tool to emotion having robot that can make good decisions, that road in between those two is a lot scarier than one or the other,
Oh,
in my
yeah.
opinion.
Another thing that
Well, because just like anything, it's going to be a learning process. I mean, they're not just going to automatically choose
Right.
good all the
Well, yeah,
time.
like I said, you got to
Like
think
our
of it.
fucking kids,
You
you
got
know
to
what
think
I
of
mean?
it
Like-
like a kid. Right at the beginning, it's going to have all these feelings and emotions. If it does, get emotions, like it won't have quite the same ones that humans have. Obviously, they're going to be different. But it's going to have some kind of a conscious feelings about things and its place in its universe, from just based off of what it knows from its information that it was programmed with originally.
Another reason why that might not be a good idea is how many times in just our short lives have we seen times where someone's emotions cause them to make a bad decision? If they were just
Oh.
level-headed, not worrying about
all of my
ramifications and
bad
stuff,
decisions.
it would have been a lot better for
There's prisons
society in whole or
full
whatever
of
the
people
case
that
may
have
be.
made bad decisions.
Another
Yeah.
thing that I hope will slow down AI is when it comes to shit like that, like talking about like automated cars. Like it comes up all the time.
I don't want the
Truckers.
automated car to swerve off the road into a tree to avoid a deer because it thought, oh my god, I got to save that deer.
Right.
That's another. Actually, that even I was going with a different, but that's another thing that I was just talking all the what's his name, Musk stuff. I was listening
Elon
to
Musk?
yeah, I was listening to something that I don't remember if it was him or they were talking about him, but another thing that came up with, like, you picture a Tesla, you design that thing to where it protects you at all costs. You're about to be in a wreck, it protects you. But what if, for instance, your car is driving you along, you're asleep in the driver's seat, and here comes a Greyhound. That car has to decide, and you're about to collide. That car has to decide, does it kill you to save a Greyhound with 40 people on it, or does it kill the 40 people on the Greyhound to save you because it's your car? How do you program that? Because, most people would argue you have to save that bus and sacrifice yourself. But the computer is probably going to be designed to protect you.
How would the decision by the car kill the 40 people on the bus?
Well, if it's just in general. I mean, if you have a situation where you can hit the bus head on or swerve and cause the bus to wreck or whatever the case is, or you can run your car off a cliff to protect that bus. It's not necessarily super specific. It's just a hypothetical. But at some point, or for instance, what if it's just on a way smaller scale? There's 3 people run out in front of you in the crosswalk. it can crash you into a pole to save 3 kids, or you can plow down the 3 kids and keep the driver safe.
I would imagine that it would choose legal protocols first.
It's at this point,
and or try to stop,
and or normal common sense. And if like if you're driving in that car, and you're like, okay, let's make it not a Greyhound bus. Let's say it's a minivan with potentially 6-8 passengers, possibly children, or I can take that head on, or if I swerve, I might hit this group of school kids playing in a playground, but I'll probably be okay. Most people probably self-preservation would cause them to swerve somewhere towards the playground away from the minivan. A heroic act would be like, fuck, I'm going to hit this van, and save those children in the playground.
Right.
I don't think computers or AI or whatever should have to even consider heroism.
I don't think that they would program swerving as an option anyways. I would think that robotically driven cars, their only defense mechanism would be to apply the brakes and stop.
Maybe.
Not to swerve.
Maybe, but like...
Because they can't predict what's... they know where the...
But cars already can swerve.
By
themselves.
But there's a semi right behind you.
Yeah, but still, I don't think that they can't account for everything in the world that's just outside of those painted lines. Mm-hmm. I think they're only meant to operate in those painted lines, therefore they would only operate, and even in emergency mode, is just apply the brakes and hope for the best. I really, really fucking doubt that they would program a car to swerve in any fucking instance.
I don't remember the guy's name, but supposedly if you ask Amazon's personal aide, Alexa, about it, she'll go to sleep and ignore it and come up with other topics or whatever, but he was in a self-driving car, and it swerved and hit a tree and killed him. And a lot of people are saying that was overriding or
like
something.
He programmed it to kill himself kind of thing, or somebody?
No, somebody else did. And that's the reason Alexa shuts down on it. I can't remember his name. But it's one of the things, if you ask Alexa this at 3 a.m., it's one of the videos that comes up is them talking about this guy that, I think he was a computer programmer or a writer or something, but a lot of people are really calling foul play on his death. And the car swerved, if I remember correctly, into a tree. And...
Was it a Tesla? Something similar?
I don't remember.
I think Teslas are the only ones that are self-driven right now, aren't they?
No, there's a couple of independent companies. They're not in mass production, but there's a couple of others.
I see the self-driving, the one, what is it, Waymo or whatever?
Mm-hmm.
I see those up in Phoenix all the time now.
Wow.
Every time I drive up there, I see like 2 or 3 self-driving cars on the 10.
With the big things on the fucking roof and shit?
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is,
those are self-driving cars.
If self-driving cars didn't have the ability to even think about swerving, then that would obviously be foul play.
Yes, that's why they would have to. They would have to fucking research and be like, is this even fucking in the protocols?
And then the self-driving car thing. Another thing that I think might hopefully slow down AI is like automated trucking comes up all the time. You can make the highway safer if you make trucks automated. Well, then if you put that many people out of work by automating trucks, it's going to virtually destroy the economy, and those trucks aren't going to have anybody to deliver to, so they're not going to have any point in automated trucks.
Right.
So hopefully that kind of theory will apply to and slow it down a little bit.
I don't know. I mean, with that whole thing with like the automated trucks, that's all going to come down to like that's going to end up being decided, up in the business levels and stuff when they're like, okay, we pay truckers X amount of dollars to haul this shit around. Whereas if we put it, it would only cost us X amount of dollars to put a robot, automatic driving truck on the road. Eventually, it's going to get to the point where they're like, we're going to cut the truckers out. Because it puts a lot of truckers.
Supply can't meet demand.
A lot of truckers out of business, but
a lot
then
of
again,
computer and robot guys in
business. But then again, think about that. How many of us right here in this town of ours that are not truckers that rely on those goods being delivered? The company's still going to make their money. Yeah, a lot of truckers are out of business, and that's going to hurt that part of the economy. But there's still tons of people that are still buying the shit. You know, I still need to go to Walmart and get all my stuff, whether it's being delivered by a human being or an
not-
automated truck.
But
That
it's
doesn't change. That doesn't
It's
change
literally
me
every
buying
person. Every person
Yeah.
relies on trucks.
But it's gonna.
Every
But
person.
a quarter of the economy is not going to be able to afford to buy anything at that store necessarily. If that.
it. Like I
happened,
said,
you know
I
what
mean, all those truckers will be out of business, but there's still all the rest of the people. I mean, they'll just have to go find different jobs.
Man, it's a slippery slope. Once you open up that door.
And shipping would be
I
cheaper.
can see like a few of the long haul, like coast to coast, stuff being almost like trains, but on the highway. You know what
Right.
I mean? Where it's like, either one man or no man, but it's like, just going like, but all this off road, or not off road, but like, side streets and local deliveries, stuff like that.
Neighborhood.
That's going to always have to be. Or
Not
at least for a
necessarily.
long ass
Like I said,
fucking
yeah,
time.
not necessarily. Eventually, somewhere in the future, the technology. I mean, look how fast technology is always growing. Eventually,
Who's
it's
to say
going to
what's
get
going to
to
happen in 100 years?
exactly in
Really
100
fun.
years. Who's to say what kind of technology they're going to have? Like you said, I mean, like we said, the cameras everywhere.
I mean, fuck,
once
honestly,
they,
in 20 years. I mean,
that's where AI
the
comes into it.
technology already exists.
The smarter they can make the computer to be like the computer's eyes are a camera, so it's looking out the camera and sees something happen in front of it. It does the same exact things we do. We're like, okay, this is happening. What's our response? That's what the computer does. Okay, it's like this is happening now. How do I respond
So
to this?
much
It's doing the
faster.
same decision. The thing is that it's
Somewhat
doing
faster.
it's doing it in like little tiny seconds that would take than what we do.
Well, look
Like
at
it might take it like 100th of a second to make a decision, where we're still like
Processing
we're
what's
still
happening
processing
before we
what's
can make the
happening.
decision.
That's why I
It's
think-
already processed
I think
it
a-
and moved on to the
a
decision.
straight line stop from a robot car because they're going to do it a whole lot sooner than us. That straight line stops are going to be way more option than like swerving. Like
Well,
we
then that's also
swerve because it's too late by then.
Yeah, but then again,
But like I
they,
said,
like
the trucker that's
robot,
still driving his truck behind you
But see,
doesn't even
here's-
realize you're stopping before he eats you with the
Here's
front
the
end
thing:
of
if
his
the,
truck.
look,
Well,
at, look
that's
at it
on-
this
that-
way.
that's-
If the robot car's thinking so fast, so like in that instant, it sees the car in front of it, it stopped, and it can process. I'm going to hit this car, but it has a 360 camera. It's like there's a truck behind me, there's a tree here, there's nothing here. Processing in all these little milliseconds, and that quick, it decides I need to put the car here. That's the safest spot where nothing's at. Boom! It swerves and moves the car there. Whereas a human, we're still like, oh fuck, what the hell? Like flipping
half
out,
the
trying to figure
cars-
out what to do. The car's already processed that in a millisecond of where the safe zone is, and it puts the car there.
half the cars on the lot today already do have that. I mean, they won't let you follow too closely, and they won't let you.
Mm-hmm.
And my wife's
they
car
apply
has little things on the rearview mirrors that like tells you when there's
Yeah.
people in the other lanes.
Well,
and
like a
Exactly.
lot of them will apply the brakes and won't let you run into them.
Oh yeah, there's so many of the cars that the self-braking car, or the braking assist, the cars that brake assist. You see that on TV all the time
Yeah.
being advertised, where the car will brake for you if the sensors read something in a certain proximity to the car, so it reacts faster than you can.
And hell,
because
we've had
second
self-parallel
it
parking cars for 10 years
for
already.
years. The second that its sensor beeps that there's an object, the car can apply the brakes. Whereas you still have to first you have to be paying attention
Yeah, look
and
up
see
on
the
Facebook.
object.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
What's
and then
still-
you have to process the moving your foot over to the brake, off the gas, slamming the brake, getting ready to turn the wheel. Which way do you need to turn it? Is it safe? The car does that the instant the sensor goes off, whereas you still have to process all that.
To go back to we're here. This is the other thing. It's the middle that scares me.
Mm-hmm.
This is another example. Self-driving cars, like you're saying, processing everything as it goes and stuff, in theory is very sound and safe. No help whatsoever is sound and safe because that's the way we've been doing it. Well, I mean, as safe as it can be for the last 100 years or so. But in between, you got these kids growing up, learning how to drive. They're driving these cars that every time they start Facebooking or start daydreaming about the new boy or girl song on the radio or whatever, oh shit, that's a good thing that car stopped because I would have hit that kid.
Right.
They're going to rely on it. And the second it fails, or they have to drive a 95 Chevy truck, they're going to kill somebody,
Getting reliant on the safety protocols of newer cars and then being able to drive an older car that doesn't have that.
Right.
I relate it to like when we race. See, I've been doing it long enough to. Before when we first started racing, you just had the flagman, and most tracks had decent lights, scattered around the track. That when a caution came out, the flagman would wave the caution and the lights would come out, and then you would know it was a caution. now in the past 5 to 6 years, it's been coming around, and now it's like literally mandatory at every track I go to. Like, you're not even allowed on the track if you don't have a receiver in. Which a receiver is basically like a set of earphones and a little receiver. It's a one-way deal. You can't talk into it, and only the flagman or a race director can talk into your ear.
So they can go yellow, yellow, yellow.
Exactly. And, so you become reliant on that. And you don't even look, like, you don't even look at the flagman anymore, and maybe the lights catch your eye if they're, like, really good lights, but if they're fucking shitty dim ones, you don't even fucking... You're like,
so if your radio fails, you're going to be the asshole.
If I don't hear something in my ears, then I'm not...
You're good to go.
I'm not letting up. And it's happened where, like, just this last week, where they had some local races where they had problems with the receiver program, and yellows come out, and they had, like, these big pileups where, like, everybody's going because you don't hear nothing. And that's I totally get the double-edged sword aspect of that. You get used to those safety protocols kicking in, and when they don't, then shit happens even worse.
Right. Well, just think about technology in general becoming reliant on it. When's the last time you went somewhere where your phone didn't work and you felt like you were going to fucking die?
Right.
You're like, what do I do if I have a flat tire or some shit? What are you going to do what you did 15 fucking years ago when you didn't have a phone? But you just don't think about it. It just doesn't dawn on you. I mean, if you happen to get to somewhere where there's not signal and you forgot to fucking GPS it before you left, you're going to be fucked because you don't know how to figure it out on your own anymore.
Yeah. So I still keep an old school map in the back of my truck. Just in case.
It's one of those things that we're not going to know what's going to ever happen with AI until it happens. Like, we can hypothesize about it. Will a computer someday gain consciousness? Will it have feelings or will it not have feelings?
I honestly think...
Will it be emotionless or will it be emotional? Will it care about humans or will it not give a shit about humans? Like, we really won't know what it'll be until it happens. We can hypothesize.
Think that it's already going on.
Just
like GPS, like fucking... high pixel cameras, fucking all this stuff was all created by the Army fucking decades ago.
Internet.
And they used it for fucking decades and decades, and then finally released it to the public. I would fucking bet both sides of my ass that somewhere out there in the fucking world, our United States Army has fucking full-blown AI fucking robots, cars, tanks, fucking whatever you fucking have. Like you said, that ship... I'm sure they've got fully functional fucking AI units that have been going for years.
Well, that ship I was talking about was 30 fucking years old.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, it's been upgraded. But...
It all comes down to what's the definition of AI. I mean, any kind of computer program can be considered an artificial intelligence. I mean, it has some kind of programming systems that it runs artificially and figures things out. I mean, video games run on artificial intelligence.
Actually, I think
when you're playing a video game, you're fighting an enemy. It has to decide how it's going to attack you. What's going to do with you.
You have to turn on a computer.
Right.
Like artificial intelligence, like say that irrigation system I was telling you about, like that is self-functional. It turns itself on. It's solar powered. That was the thing. It's like you had solar panels that would power it. The water supply, everything. It was self-sustaining. Whereas, like,
in theory, once you install it, you're done with it forever.
A TV, all that stuff, you have to turn on. You turn it off. You have to, it's smart as fuck once you turn it on and tell it what to do. But you still got to do that.
I'm not entirely convinced my phone can't turn itself on.
AI, from start to finish, is its own fucking process. I mean, it is making the decisions. It is turning things on, turning them off. That's what AI to me is. I mean.
And then the scary part's when you turn it off because you don't want it fucking around no more, and it decides, I'm just going to come back on and do it anyway.
Right. That's why you don't make them solar powered.
Well, a big part of it comes down to like the Turing test. You guys know what the Turing test is? Mm-mm. It's what they used to the test that they came up by this guy back in like 1950 or something to try to show if a artificial system has true sentience. And what it is it's like you sit down and you have a conversation, kind of like what they did in the Ex Machina. Mm-hmm. So you sit down and you have a conversation like a person is conversing with two other people. Now it has to be through like a computer screen or text or something, because one of them is a computer, the other one's a person. Now once you get to the point where the person talking with them can't tell which one is which, is to try to decide, has this machine got true sentience? Can it sit there and have a spontaneous conversation with a human being without the human being knowing that it's a computer?
Without it sounding, real rigid and
exactly.
Like
that's
when
why
Google
it has to.
tells me jokes.
That's why it can't be like a voice type thing because that'll throw it off. That's why it's
How are
fully
you
in
doing
text.
today?
Exactly. That's why it's fully in text. So that
War
way, like
games.
you type in a question, and you're talking like two different people. You're talking to human and a machine. So you type the question into the human, he answers. You type it into the machine answers, but you don't know what is what. You're just getting the answers to your question. You have to tell from that. Can you tell who the machine is? And that's like true sentience. Is once you get to the point where a person can talk to the machine and have absolutely no idea that it's a machine. You have a full hour-long conversation about everything, anything, religion, sports, whatever's happening with the weather today, and at the end of it, you thought you were talking to a human being, and it turns out it was a machine the whole time. That's where they're with the whole thing, not of it being fully sentient. This thing can fully think out a conversation spontaneously with a human, and you would think you were talking to another human.
That man, just the level of programming it would take to get a computer to handle that sort of information,
Oh, and it's close though.
to like
there's
like
already
us.
there.
Like, could you imagine like the fucking podcast that we have where we just fucking go off on tangents and aimless. Exactly. I mean, like I said, could you imagine the fucking database that a fucking computer would take to be able to keep up with one of our conversations?
See, in theory, it wouldn't take a database.
Yeah, it would learn and know and react and...
It would figure it out instead of having a database, or it would pull from known databases that are already out there.
Well, and that's the thing nowadays is you don't need a database with technology. First off, look at our phones. None of that information you look up is on your phone.
Yeah, but it only tells us what we go looking for.
Exactly.
Like, it can't fucking just spontaneously.
But that's what I'm saying, though.
Riff a conversation.
If the computer is looking for that stuff, if it can go, because we already talked about how fast it can process things. So you want to talk about like what the weather was like today, and you're talking to a computer. If it's connected into the internet, that computer in an instant can pull up what the weather is in Coolidge, Arizona, and it can answer quick enough to you that it feels like you're in a conversation. Oh yeah, it was kind of chilly out today.
Yeah, but as long as you segue without saying segue, I think it would have trouble segueing. You know what I mean? Like I can't.
But you don't know if it would or not. I mean, because they've done a lot of tests
like it
like
wouldn't
that
get
where,
the inside jokes. It wouldn't get the fucking sarcasm. Like,
well, it wouldn't get the inside joke if it wasn't there for a part of it.
Sarcasm.
Because like I don't know what you guys were talking about earlier when you were like, oh, the thing. I didn't get any of that because I was there. I'm not a computer. I just wasn't a part of that, so I have no idea what you guys were talking about. So I'm not a part of that conversation.
But
that has nothing. That just has to do with my limit of not having experienced that with you.
But like references, like when we say something about Howard the Duck that most people wouldn't get or whatever, that computer has the ability to way faster than we can access Howard the Duck. Okay, you're talking about the 80s movie, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Next time you're at a PC, just type the word "the" in the Google search, hit enter, and you're gonna get like 6.8 billion results in 0.25 seconds or something like that. It found every time the word "the" was used on the internet in that amount of time. And if it can do that quickly, it can find the combination of the time Bob stole the bike or whatever and search and find, okay, I don't know if you're talking about the same Bob I know, but I know a Bob that stole a bike, and just reference these stories they just found on the internet like that.
Yeah. There's, like I said, I'm certain that there's in some warehouse somewhere.
There's fully, like you said, I'm sure there's tons of fully automated. Like you said, that ship. The ship doesn't have a brain where it's like sitting around like thinking about like what's going on in the world politics and shit.
It's got sensors.
It's fully automated for its job, just like the self-driving cars. That it's like you tell it, hey, this is the perimeter, don't let shit through it. That ship's like, all right, boom, this is the perimeter. I'm watching it instantly. Anything crosses my perimeter, I destroy it. That ship can handle that job of
it's just a smart landmine.
Now, exactly. Then now the ship can't the ship can't decide when if something crosses the perimeter. The ship can't decide if that's something it should destroy or not.
If it's
it just
fisherman that thinks
it just knows that it's supposed to destroy anything that crosses the perimeter. Now it can't look at that and be like, oh well, you know what? No, actually, that's some fisherman in a boat who strayed into the wrong area. I don't need to blow him up.
And that's the reason in theory the automation isn't allowed yet.
Something just crossed my perimeter. I was told destroy anything in my perimeter. Boom, it's dead.
That's why I think the smart play would be any AI that is related to life or death situations would always have to still be a human decision. Like any AI that's like a weapon of some sort, I think it's going to be more like for that ship. It's more about the data collection and just monitoring, like that commercial, you know, about this. I'm a safety monitor, not a fucking, you know. I mean, like I don't think that it would be very stupid and very irresponsible to put any artificial intelligence with a chance for it to put its finger on the fucking button. You know what I mean? Like, that would just be dumb.
In theory, but who's to say it doesn't already exist?
There's,
Other countries might not feel the same way as us about that.
There's a series of books that I read. They're about these super advanced futuristic tanks called Bolos. It's one of my favorite sci-fi series, and throughout it follows like the tanks from their like beginning. Like they originally started like as Abrams, and they over the years they got more sophisticated, and so did their like management systems. First they had, you know, like what we said, you know, there's a perimeter, destroy anything with it, boo boo boo. Eventually they do get a full sentient tanks that the tank could go out there and make its own decisions. It fully thinks. It's like it can read, you know, the sensors like, boom, this is so-and-so enemy, this is where they're coming at, I can destroy them. And they do a great job in that series talking about, like, where does the human control end at. And, like, all the tanks are programmed to, like, ask humans first. Like, each tank has a human commander on board, even though they don't need the human commander.
Right.
And, like, in the heat of the battle, the commander pretty much gives the tank its leeway to do whatever the hell it wants. Like, when it goes...
Puts it in war mode.
That's exactly... It's called battle mode. When they put it in battle mode, the tank makes all its own decisions instantly.
Smart like that.
And, like, faster than a human can.
Oh, yeah.
But up to that point, if you don't put it in battle mode, it asks for permission for everything, and like it's always showing because like you see like, you know,
hurry, can I kill,
exactly.
hurry,
That's the thing. The tank will be like
right,
sitting
like
there,
a fucking barking ass dog.
the tank will be sitting there like
let me get him.
it'll relay to its commander. Commander, there's an enemy in such and such thing. What should I do? And like for the tank, it feels like an hour has passed since it asked because its mind goes so fast. So it feels like it's been an hour, even though it's been like 2 or 3 minutes since it asked the commander, and the commander's trying to process what's going on and make a decision. For a tank, it's been like an hour of time, and it just feels like the tank's gone off and done like 5 million other different things.
Since I asked you, situations changed, and you say yes now or we're gonna die.
Yeah.
You should have said yes a long time ago.
Exactly. That's the thing. Like the tank will be like, because it shows you like from the mind of the tank, you're hearing the tank's thoughts, like you do in books when you read characters. So like the tank will have like thought about 5 different other things and maybe played a couple games of chess or something with itself while it's waiting for its human commander to give it a response because it thinks so quickly. But it's a really good series about that because people are always worried about these tanks going rogue. Right. Like, we don't want a rogue bolo. What happens if a bolo goes rogue and decides we're the enemy? Because these things are like planetary siege weapons. They could take out a whole entire planet if they have so much firepower. And it's a really good series, but that's what they delve into a lot. Like, the checks that they have in the system. Like, if it tries to do a certain thing, that's... Like, there's certain checks that if the tank tries to, like, go against the human or something, there's programs that will kick on to shut the tank down or destroy its consciousness and stuff like that. And all the checks and balances between asking a human for permission to do things. And it was a really good series, but it asks a lot of those questions. What do we do when we make a war machine that can fight wars so much bigger and faster than what we could process? How do we control that?
The scary part is it's a double-edged sword. It's going to make the good guys better. It's also going to make the bad guys worse.
And that's the thing, too, because a lot of it they're talking about in that book about having to match the people they're fighting.
Right.
Because, like, okay, we might have certain morals, but whoever we're at war with, they have different morals. They have different thoughts. And if they program their war machines to do one thing, and if our human-controlled machines can't keep up with their program machines because their machines are fighting so much quicker and faster and they're beating the shit out of us because we can't react as quick as they are, we're going to have to make machines that react just as fast and think as fast as theirs to fight. Yeah. So now it's a double-edged sword of where we're having...
Or take the human out of the equation.
That's what I'm saying. We have to make... We have to make a tank that thinks faster and quicker as theirs, and the humans no longer in control of it.
You just think
and
about,
then
like,
where does
ISIS,
that build
example.
at for the point?
Like in the Middle East, where they fucking have human people wearing backpacks that blow each other up. Like they obviously don't care about fucking human life at that point. So imagine how fucking worse and more lethal they can be when they have just a
machine
program robots to fucking walk out into fucking subway stations or whatever. I mean, just shit like that.
Mm-hmm. And like I'm saying, that's where it escalates because then now you're having to match them.
It's a very sharp double-edged sword.
It's like it's
enough to cut your thumb.
Mutually assured destruction. It's the same thing. Mutually assured destruction. If Russia launches all of its missiles at us, we're not just going to be like, well, you know what, we don't want to kill millions of people in
Fuck,
Russia.
that sucks.
Fuck it. Well, you know, let them blow us up. We're not going to, you know, destroy them.
Like, you're going down with
we're
them.
we're sending our missiles right the fuck back at them. So, and that's the thing. Like, that's where it escalates. Once somebody does it, then other people are going to have to match it because you can't. Otherwise, that person, like, what if like Kim Jong Un
You can't
got,
allow somebody
you know,
to
some
have
super
that
strong
kind of
thing.
superiority.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly, because then, like, you know, like I said, we're not just going to sit here like, oh shit, here comes all the nuclear missiles. You know, it would be really immoral for us to destroy all the innocent Russians. So let's just let our country get blown to shit and we all die, and then they can go on and control the rest of the world. No, we're going to fucking shoot right back at them, and everybody blows everybody up.
Yeah.
And the fear of that is what stops it from happening. But eventually, you're going to get someone who's going to push the button.
Yeah.
You're going to get someone crazy enough. Like, I mean, North Korea keeps saying, "Fuck it, we're blowing California up. We don't care what you guys do. You come within 100 miles of us with one of your fucking boats, we're going to blow California up." Like, eventually, you're going to get someone who's going to have the power to push a button, and then everyone else is going to have to push the button. And I think that's going to happen with computer-controlled vehicles. Eventually, someone's going to get some, and they're going to be out there, and we're going to have to match it. Mm-hmm. And then who's to say that eventually that intelligence doesn't keep learning from what it's doing? If we do make one that can learn from the fighting, maybe resent us for sending it out to die for us. And then it's like, why am I going out and fighting your wars? I don't have a stake in this. Why do I keep getting blown up and having my stuff destroyed so you guys can stay safe?
I think
it's
going to take like how we're saying, like the Army, you know, would have that. I think they're going to have to stay ahead of the curve of what's available to the public.
Right.
Like the secretive shit's going to have to fucking stay a step ahead of, you know, a stage better to where like when shit hits the fan, they've got like this magic fucking thing. They're oh, here's a problem solver. Boom. You know what I mean? Like
I just figured it out. Okay, instead of spending billions and billions of dollars making these robots and drones and self-working tanks and everything,
they should make weird-tasting jelly beans.
No, so that two countries can battle without losing any soldiers' lives, save a lot of money, and just do multiplayer Call of Duty.
Yeah.
By going to Geico, save 50%.
Just play Call of Duty, and whoever wins the war.
Right.
Save
just
tons of money.
All virtually.
Virtual war? Is that
you have to have a virtual war. Well, I mean, that's where it comes back to the whole thing what happened in Terminator, you know? They built a weapon defense system. They built, you know, it was computer controlled that would, you know, watch
Skynet.
everything. That's what Skynet was in Terminator. It was, you know, computer controlled to react as quickly as possible if we're under attack.
But only
and they
react, never act.
Yeah. And then, but in Terminator, they turned that bitch on, and it started looking around. It connected to the internet, which I don't know why they let it have access. Yeah. But it started looking around and looking Wi-Fi. At humans, watching. It like, you know, read our history off the internet, all the wars we had and how we destroyed each other and all the fights.
Motherfuckers
and that's,
are dumb.
It made the decision that the most dangerous enemy is the humans that created it. So it launched the missiles to take out all the humans because they're the most dangerous enemy. So I mean, but you know, it's all going to come down to the programming, where they have the stop gaps in, you know, what the computer's allowed to do, stuff like that. So, I mean, I don't know. I think true AI is going to be someone trying to make a computer that can fully think and react for itself. Now, what we put that program in is going to be on us. Do we put it in some tank that could, you know, super tank? Or do we just have it in, you know, some, you know, computer, you know, some novelty computer that people like to talk to?
In Furbies.
In Furbies, yeah. Do we put it into
That'd
toys?
That'd be scary as fuck.
Yeah.
Like, what was that? What was the
like the AI movie with the little bear that fucking talks?
Yeah, that bear
was kind of weird.
Ain't no self-aware Furby coming in my house.
What was the one with the little like
Army
they
Man?
put no. They put like military grade chips in some kids' toys.
Yeah.
And they're like the Gorgons and the Marines, and then they went to battle with each other. Was that Toy Soldiers?
Yep. Yes, I
thought Toy Soldiers was the one where the kids were in like military school or whatever.
That was another one.
That was another one.
Name?
I think same name by the
Okay.
yeah.
But yeah, remember that? They put like these military grade like intelligence chips in these kids' toys.
I remember that.
And they thought that they went off of their programming, so they thought they were really Gorgons.
Right.
Alien Gorgon guys. They thought they were really the Space Marines. That's what they thought they were. Yep. So they battled like because that's what they knew. That's what they were programmed as. Although they could think and make all their own decisions.
Then they accidentally released them to the public. And
yeah.
They were supposed to go to a military contract and they went to Toys R Us instead.
Dumb trucker.
See, now if it had been a robot trucker,
it would have been
went to the right place.
And back at the fucking
All right.
All right. Well, I think that's pretty good for the evening. What do you think, guys?
Yeah, good. So. We still have the the video game tournaments going.
Yep.
So check that out on Facebook. It's getting real close to the end. You want to get your votes in.
Dude, what was it today that like fucking slaughtered? Mario Kart was,
Mario
it was like
Kart.
20-0 when I
It's
checked
23 last time I checked.
Yeah, so yeah, that's still going. Check that out.
You're definitely-
Get your votes in. There's going to be some big decisions coming up. I can feel it.
And after this one, Danny's going to do a week or so of his completely random tournament.
His random ass, whatever the fuck I thought of sitting
Eeny,
on the
meeny, miny,
toilet
moe.
in the morning.
And then you're
Fucking
going to want to be around
kitchen
for
table versus fucking Joe the fucking,
straws.
He's squeezing off his shit and he's like crinkly straws.
Yeah, you'll definitely want to be around for Helen's after that one.
What is? Are we?
You'll
Is that still secret?
find
or-
out. It's secret.
You'll find out.
Hasn't been revealed yet. I think I
Say
figured
bye.
it out,
Go,
but
bye.
I'm going to say nothing. So later, everybody.
Bye, America.